That's right. Welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Wednesday to you. That's the Wednesday intro. Makes me very, very happy. It's all lined up. It's all lined up perfectly for what should be a great, great day. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl to my right. Good morning, Paulie.
Soaping actually makes me a little sad.
Yeah, it's a playoff reminder.
Yeah.
That's we started doing it during the playoffs. It's all right, man. You play like last night, no problem. No problem. We'll talk about that. Paulie's our executive producer.
Good morning. Hey.
Good morning to you.
Happy birthday,
Thank you, buddy. I can't wish myself a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, welcome in. Happy birthday to me.
Some radio hosts would.
Yes, they would. Very much so.
They would actually love to do it.
Very much so. Appreciate it. To my left, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, Benjamin Higgins. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. The big 4-8. The short amount of time where Woodsy is actually a year older than I am.
Yeah.
For the next
few
couple of
months.
months. Yeah.
That's
until
exactly
November,
right.
when
That's
I
exactly
turned 48.
right.
So get to be the old man of the radio station now.
I've got this cool bracelet on that my doctor recommended for my wrist pain. It's called the wrist widget, and it is, man, is it awful. Was that?
Yeah.
Bo said last
Goes
night.
well with your can of Ensure that you have. It's perfect.
Bo said last night, I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. I guess it doesn't look cool. It doesn't.
You don't have to lie to me.
He was just trying to make me feel better.
Just call it a Woods Strong bracelet, and we're good to go.
The wrist widget for this unbearable wrist pain, where apparently there's nothing wrong with me, but save some ladies for the rest of us. Woodsy, I got braces galore coming out of my drawers at home, but. No, it's great to be here with you. Great to make it another year, to be honest with you. I'd said it on the live stream last night. Didn't really think I'd see 48. Honest to God, at one point in my life, I was not sure that I would make it to 48 years old, and we've done it, albeit, with some bumps and bruises along the way and seemingly getting worse and falling apart a little bit more every day, but very grateful and happy to be with you guys. Of course, I love you both. And it's great to be here with our audience and in this phenomenal city.
Well, several people have shepherded you along the way.
They have.
Your wife, Hannah, who's in our YouTube chat right now, your children, your friends, your colleagues. But, of course, you wouldn't be here without guy who we've got on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline right now.
Yep.
Your dad, Gary, is on the line. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, boys. It's been a while.
Hi, Pops.
Hey, I couldn't let this morning go without wishing you a very, very happy birthday to my number one son.
Thank you very much. Couldn't be here without you and your support and love and our biggest fan, my biggest fan to be sure.
Wait, don't you have a brother?
I do. He's my number, but I'm number one.
Yeah, you're number one.
Yeah, I'm number one.
It's chronological.
Well, yes, and kind of wink, wink. Bo asks me all the time, "Who's your favorite?" And I go, "You're both my favorite," and then I throw him like a little wink. You're fine. You're firstborn.
Yeah.
The firstborn.
But you don't announce it right on the radio.
No,
on record. Paul's got that on tape.
He can go back and watch this at some point. But thank you, Pops. I love you, and I'm sure you probably at some point were worried I wouldn't see 48 either.
Well, this day reminds me of a lot of things, but most importantly, how very old I am.
That's exactly. He's like me. Let's make it about himself. That's exactly how I do. No, you honestly.
Think of it this way. Your grandchildren are so young, Gary. You're such a young grandpa at this point.
It's true. He's got four grandbabies. They're all boys. Boys. He's super happy about that. And how old's Oliver? He's 11, 12?
He turns 12 in a month.
He's like 6 feet tall. The other day we did my brother's kid, his oldest. We did a FaceTime. He gets on the FaceTime. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?" And I'm like, "Are you faking that voice at 12, or are you just very mature?" He's about 6 feet tall too.
Starting year 2 of tackle football, which is crazy.
Wow. "Hey, what's up? How are you? What's up, cousins? How you doing?" I'm like, "What in the world, dude? His voice is deeper than mine." They just spent the week with my parents out at their place in East Texas, and just good kids, man. My dad is he's got four good grandsons that all just adore him too. So that speaks a lot about who he is. And obviously, again, my number one fan, our number one fan, listens every day. Appreciate you, Pops. I love you very much.
Love you guys too. Keep up the great work.
We will.
Thanks, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Dad. He's the best, dude. He is the best. Guys pulled me out of many a jam. many a jam for sure. No, it's awesome. I woke up this morning. My wife had beautiful card and some gifts. Signed me up for this record club. Kind of,
I know that when you put a penny on the postcard,
not that
and then
one.
they send
Not
you
that
8.
one. Not
You
that
get
one.
8 records, and then for just $17.99 a month, you'll continue to receive a record every month.
I owe that company $75,000. $75,000. You know what? For a rabbit hole, that would be a good one. Dive just headlong into the
What was that company?
Columbia House.
That's right.
I still remember it, man. I still remember getting the postcard, ripping it out, taping the penny to it, filling out the 12 CDs or tapes. I think I started when it was tapes.
Cassettes, yeah.
And then when it went to CDs, I was like, oh, you guys are dead. I'm going to scam you so hard. My friends would send it to neighbors' houses. Like, they would do all sorts of stuff. And I mean, it's no kind of business model. I mean, probably a better business model than giving your product away for free every day like we do.
You know what? I'm sure there's a reason it worked. I think people, they know that people will get their 8, 12, whatever CDs, and then they'll cancel, and that's it. But a lot of people will then just forget about it and, automatically be charged whatever for 42 months.
But back then, there wasn't. But back then, you didn't put in a debit or credit card.
Yeah, you didn't have your Apple Pay already
they
set.
They sent you a bill.
Yeah.
And then you had to actually pay it. So what I did with the bill, I just threw it away. I was 13. What are you going to do?
It's a lot easier nowadays to forget about what you for.
Because I'll get banged in my account for something. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, oh, dirty nurses. I don't remember signing up for that. And they get me for $12.99 in my account. I'm like, oh, come on, man. But back then, they would send you a bill. And Ben, you're 13. You're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to throw me in debtor's prison? Just throw it away. And you get your Van Halen CDs and you're good to go. It's the best, dude. Come after me. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I knew that even
13
then.
Years old in bankruptcy court from the early 80s.
Dude, 100%, man. Holy cow. So great to be here with you guys. We're going to be joined by Adam Jones live in studio today. Very excited about that. Coming in, going to hang out with us and, shoot the breeze. And he's just a great guest, a great storyteller. And then we're all going to go play golf together. So, yeah, really, really fun day planned. And hopefully it goes well. And I think it's Ben has already set the teams. It's going to be me and AJ against Ben and Paul. I like you guys' chances. This could get ugly and ugly quick.
I've played like twice in the last 4 months.
Ben's really good.
Coming off my worst round of the year.
You haven't played much either.
I haven't played at all. Played one time in the fog with Foster like 2 weeks ago. So
we're gonna mop the floor.
It's a different story. Like professional athletes, they step up. We don't matter what sport. I know Adam's still kind of on the entry phase of his golf, but when something's on the line, they got to make a putt for something. They tend to lock in better than the rest of us can. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
They've got a different level than the rest of us.
Well, we'll see. But looking forward to him getting here and hanging out. But we'll talk about the Padres too. It was great. I mean, it's been a great morning because of a great win last night from our San Diego Padres. And you watched that team last night, and I found myself after the game. I went to my wife. I said, "Who beats this team? If they play like that, this is when they look like a World Series contender." Straight up. Brilliant pitching by Joe Musgrove last night. Really, really good. Pitched out of some jams. The hitting was spectacular. Showed power, speed, defense. You watch that team, Ben, and you go, that's it. That's what we want. Their wins, all of their wins are stunning. They're beautiful, perfect. And you can't say that we never have ugly wins. Never. Like, it feels like our wins are always shining and beautiful, and our losses are massively excruciating. There's really no in between, and nothing's changed as far as feast and famine goes. I actually they scored 9 runs. I go, and I texted you guys, I go, tomorrow we'll get 2 hits and 1 run. Like, that's what we need more consistency. You don't have to score 9 runs a game. Certainly. I know that's illogical, but you look at the way they played last night and you go, how does anybody beat these guys?
Yeah, it's really, for me, a case of fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 44 times or however many times they've won this year. shame on me. Yeah, I'm not gonna get too excited. You're absolutely right. When they play well, it almost always looks like they're a playoff team, a World Series contender,
and like head and shoulders above everybody else.
And I've pointed this out before. Other than like getting swept by the Dodgers, and even those games were kind of close.
Yeah,
there's not a team the Padres have played this year where I go, they're overmatched by this squad. Right. They have matched up position for position, talent for talent, and usually they've come up on the right side of the ledger when comparing themselves to their opponent. I almost always think the Padres are the better team. Even after the series, even after losing 2 out of 3 to a club, I go, yeah, they lost 2 out of 3, but if I had to pick a team going forward, I'll take the Padres. They look better to me out on the field. They look better on paper. This is the team. But here we are, 5 games under 500, 45-50, because over and over again, they've just shown whatever that what's the opposite of, like that magical ability to win games? They've shown a magical ability, honestly, to lose games this year that they shouldn't lose. And they've probably done it too many times to this point to really get excited about another really nice performance last night.
No, you're absolutely right. And when Cosgrove came in and you saw the chopper to Cronenworth and he kind of booted it, got a late break on it. Then Cosgrove,
everybody in San Diego just go, here we go.
Then Cosgrove walked the next guy, and everyone that I know was like, here it comes. And credit to them for finally, staunching the bleeding there and not letting it turn into a massive gaping wound where the wheels fell off. And
they get pop-up double play or something.
Yeah, pop-up double play and inning over. And Ben's your fantasy yesterday of the bullpen giving up no runs comes true.
Yeah, the first time in 18 games that the Padres bullpen did not allow a run. In 14 of those, they allowed at least 2 runs as well. So, yeah, good job by Tom Cosgrove and the new kid, Alec, what's his
name?
Alec Jacob, who went 2 innings.
Looked fantastic.
Now I feel like they used their 2 best relievers yesterday.
I know.
Shouldn't have wasted those guys in such a blowout. You get 2 best guys out there in a blowout win. What kind of managing is that, Bob Melvin? But now that game was always one. Oh, let's save it. We got a lot to talk about. We got 4 hours. We got Adam Jones coming in at 8:00. We're celebrating Woods' birthday. We got our regular features. Oh, by the way, Jen Sturger going to be with us at 9:35. She coming to town for a show? Or?
She is coming to town, and she's doing some stand-up.
She's doing some stand-up, some Comic-Con stuff.
I think we're going to be down at Comic-Con tomorrow, after the show. We got an early break, so we're going to drive around down there and just kind of take in the sights, do some bits. I think she's going to hang with us tomorrow, too.
Tonight.
My wife's super excited about that, by the way.
Comic-Con?
No, Jen Sturger.
Oh.
I was doing content with Jen Sturger. It's just professional. It's just work, baby. It's just business.
Yeah.
It's just business. That's all it is.
Anyway,
let's get to break and we'll reset this thing and we'll get after it.
Daily Diddy is coming up next. It is Canadian bands this
week. Whose Diddy is it? Yours?
Apparently it's mine.
Okay.
I got to do some thinking. I thought it was yours.
We know what.
Would you like it for your birthday?
Sure.
Take it over.
I'll take it for my birthday. All right, let me get some work done here.
Go ahead, take it, Woods. It is a Canadian band.
Save you guys from some Nickelback.
We've got some good news and some bad news when it comes to the Incorporator as well. We'll share that with you coming up next with Ben and Woods. Let's get our first check of Woodsy's birthday traffic with Kelly Danick coming up here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This really should be your ditty, Working for the Weekend. But you gave it to me for my birthday. I had no idea Loverboy was a Canadian band. I love. Turn it up. Crank it. Get it right. Everybody's working for the weekend. Not everybody. I will not be working for the weekend.
Well, what do you think that means?
Everybody wants a new romance.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Oh, everyone's working for the weekend.
On the weekend.
They're working hard during the week for the weekend.
For the weekend.
Ben's is everybody's working
on the weekend.
Only Ben is working on the weekend. That's true. Everybody wants a new romance. Everybody needs a second chance. I love Loverboy. There was an album cover that I got through Columbia House, as we mentioned. It was Mike Reno's ass in tight red leather pants, and he had his fingers crossed up against his tight leather ass like that. It was called Get Lucky. And I remember it when I was a kid, and I went, I don't know what that is, but I'm in on it. And apparently it was a man's ass. So there you go. That's my ditty.
Things you learn.
Happy birthday. Good choice.
Thank you.
So as I mentioned, we actually have good news, bad news, and good news about the incorporator yesterday. Had Jesse Agler on, gave him his incorporator word. Do we still have the setup? Or
I don't right now.
There's no really point in playing it because, well, even though Jesse did work the word slum gum into last night's television broadcast, and I didn't see it, but I saw people tweeting about it like mud. Didn't even notice, just went right past him on television. Paulie went to call it up today, and his MLB TV feed where we get all the audio from television is now blacked out locally, and we can't find a way to actually access the audio to play it for you, which is very disappointing because I love playing the incorporator. So that's the bad news. But I did say there was another piece of good news. So before the game yesterday, I did text Bob Scanlon, who was filling in for Jesse on the radio with Tony Gwynn Jr. And I said, as we talked about yesterday on the show, we thought it would be fun to do a dual incorporator and see if you could also work the word slum gum.
I'm glad you did this.
Which is like the residue when you're like melting down beehive honeycomb.
Right.
And all the sludge with the bee parts and dirt and everything in it. If you could try to work that into the radio broadcast as well here on 97.3 The Fan. And Bob gave me the old, I'll see what I can do, which just suspiciously sounded like a no.
Sounded a lot like F off, Higgins.
But it turned out to be a yes because I got the news in the middle of the game that Bob absolutely did work it in. Do we know what inning this came from?
I believe this was bottom of the fifth.
Yep.
Taking for a strike, evens it up at 1-1. Roof is open here at the Rogers Center. The first retractable roof in Major League Baseball history. Probably a lot of slum gum on the rails here that moves this roof. Jam shot fouled off to the
you never know. I love it. I love it. I think it can be used in a bevy of different ways, and I love the word slum gum. I think it's a fantastic word. I'm going to start
a lot of slum gum on the rails here that moves this.
Yeah, I'm going to start using it as like. It's like he was talking maybe like about lubrication.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, I mean, it just gets kind of janky after so many years.
Yeah,
The gunk has built up on the rails up there above the Rogers Center for sure.
Well, I'm sure glad that you did that, Ben. Kudos to you for doing it.
Was it you during our we had our live stream member watch party last night? I think it was on Gary Sanchez's home run. Yeah. And I just hear, hit the slum gum out of that one.
Yeah.
That's a great home run call right there. He just hit the slum gum out of that.
Fantastic. We had a great time on the live stream last night. Thank you guys for being there for that. And we'll try to, listen, we're going to try to do more of that stuff. It's fun. It's hard. I have both my kids running around, and it's like, again,
4:07 first pitch is a tough time.
That's a tough one, man. It's crunch time around there, and the kids were just.
We made it a couple of 2 hours.
Yeah, we did. We made it.
We had had Manoah not thrown 69 pitches in the first inning, we might have gotten through the whole game.
And we had a few dozen, didn't we? Tier ones who joined us, gold members. Just a perquisite, as it were. A little extra if you really don't get enough every 4 hours of us in the mornings. Oof. A chance to spend a little more time with the three of us at least once a month. And like you said, Woods, we're going to continue to think of different ways to kind of expand that in the off season when it's not a Padres watch party. Think of some other things, but we do want to thank everybody who signed up on our YouTube stream and membership. You certainly don't have to. Everything else is absolutely free about this show, but you do have that chance to be an extra special gold member if you want to sign up on our YouTube stream.
Yeah, and the other thing we did a couple of weeks ago was we jumped on after a horrific loss.
It was the sweep in Pittsburgh.
Horrific. Jumped on, did that one. That one was wheels off, man. That one was wheels completely off. We'll do that stuff too. That's for everyone. But it was awesome, man. It's a really, really good time. And I wish I could have stayed on longer. I do, but baths have to be given. Bedtime has just been a real bear lately, trying to get those two dudes down. It's light outside, and I'm trying to get both my children down so that I may sleep.
I will say that if you listen to the stream, if you were like the movie ratings people, you would definitely be rated R.
NC-17.
Maybe NC-17.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Mostly from Beth.
I mean, there's no nudity.
Mostly from you. No.
There's no full
There's a lot of talk of nudity.
But there's definitely strong language, and listener and viewer discretion is advised during our streams.
My favorite part
me.
There was a couple parts of it I liked last night. Just to recap for those of you that may have missed it, I think you'll find this interesting. So Ben's colleague Steve Smith was back. He was in the office with you, and he was doing his work back there, but he could hear live what we were talking about. He had AirPods in, and he was doing work, but he could kind of hear it. And I don't know how we got to talking about it, but he had a Pamela Anderson story, and he was a bouncer at a Motley Crue show in like 1984.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and they put him because
first of all, I had no idea he worked as a bouncer. He's not a big bouncer looking dude.
No, he said he's like, I was skin and bones. I was about 130 pounds, so he was on the security detail, and they said, "Yeah, you're not working the crowd. We're going to put you backstage at the Motley Crue show."
Passes at the entrance in the back.
And he said he had to turn down the lead singer from Rat, who's Stephen Piercy, San Diego guy.
Didn't have credentials.
No credentials, but he's like, "Dude, I'm Stephen Piercy." He's like, "I don't know who you are, beat it." He said a young lady walked in a black mesh shirt with nothing on underneath, and that was Pam Anderson. And he said, I escorted her right through.
I don't think she had credentials either,
I don't think so.
Somehow made it into the show.
Let's put it this way, without being crass. She had credentials, okay? And he decided to let her in and let her through. So that was a fun part. My other favorite part was you working a live read into the script into the live stream for your new weight loss.
I did, yeah. We talked about it. I'm over 25 pounds lost now. And I showed off my dinner, my real dinner that I brought to work
launches it. And actually, I feel a lot better.
I do.
I've lost 25 a 30-minute infomercial that you see if you leave
the Padres game.
You leave your view on for like an extra 15 minutes. Like if you watch the 10-minute post-game show, you hear Bob Melvin speak, and then you go and do some dishes or something.
You come back. It's gold. It's silver coins.
It's Ben talking about SD Fat.
Yeah, it's so good.
Could be
so
Could
good.
be our old friend Dr. Henninger.
Dr. Henninger, dental
implants. Could be a former colleague of ours sometimes as well. You never know what you're going to get at the end of a Padres post-game show on Channel 4 Your View.
Very good stuff.
All right, let's get to our Padres wrap-up.
Oh, yes.
Nothing really bad to say about last night's game, that's for sure. It's nice to have a day like this, at least for once.
I'm back in.
We'll enjoy all of Bob's highlights of the 9-1 win over the Toronto Blue Jays last night. Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. At Cars.com, check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? Speaking of possibilities, Padres were checking them out before the game yesterday with a series of roster moves. 3 in particular going in and out of the roster yesterday. Let's see. Luis Campusano was activated off the injured list, 60 days. So he goes back on the 40-man roster. That meant they had to send Austin Nola down to AAA to make room on the 26-man. And
that one shocked me.
And they also designated Rougned Odor for assignment to clear the 40-man roster spot.
That kind of shocked me as well.
So that one bummed me out. Yeah, a little bit. Shockingly.
Then they brought up from AAA both Alfonso Rivas, who we've seen before, and Taylor Colaway, who we have not. Did not get into the game yesterday, but when he does, will make his major league debut. Colway is a guy who can play the outfield, designate hit, maybe even a little first base if they need him. Rivas, we've seen before, an infielder. Bat has put up some decent numbers at AAA. He's been in the big leagues before with the Cubs. We saw him with the Padres briefly earlier this year. They also sent Brandon Dixon down to AAA to make it all even on the 26-man roster. So a number of moves yesterday by the San Diego Padres.
The Colway story is pretty interesting. He was a 21st round draft pick, Benjamin, in 2016. Got to El Paso in 2019. And after the COVID year, he's been in El Paso ever since. And
so you're saying he was drafted by the San Diego Padres
and has reached the big leagues
through the minor leagues with the San Diego Padres organization and is now a member of the San Diego Padres big league team.
That is exactly right.
Shouldn't be such shocking news.
It really
on a baseball team.
Should be standard procedure.
Someone you drafted a few years ago made their way up through the minors and got onto your team. But with the Padres, it always does seem like, wow, that's quite the accomplishment to make the big leagues with the San Diego Padres.
And I will say it was funny. I saw Campy in the dugout last night, and the guys were about to go back out to play defense, and I saw Campy put a glove on his hand, like he was going to go out and warm up the pitcher. I don't know if he did, but remember, that's how he got hurt the first time. I was like, maybe you get, I don't know, literally anybody else out there to warm up the pitcher.
So Bob Melvin talked a little bit about it, and he admitted, I mean, we're not doing well, and some of these moves are just because you can't just keep doing the same thing. You got to make some changes, and he said, not Odor's fault that we're 5 games or 6 games under 500 at the time. But there's only, only so many moves you can make that are available to you.
Tell the story you told last night on the live stream about what Bo said.
He was asked about whether it's important to have guys who come up through your system make it to the big league club, and whether that's, we're looking at the Reds with their guys, Ellie De La Cruz, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and the Orioles bringing up Adley Rutschman and some of their other young players and the success they're having. And I think that was kind of the aim of the question. And ultimately, the answer is, it doesn't matter where your players come from if they're producing on the big league level. But Bob said something that really stuck with me. He talked about how, hey, if you've got a minor league system, you're full of players and coaches who are working their tails off to try to make it up, and they don't see anybody progressing up to the big league level, it's disheartening for everyone in the system. You have to have that carrot of, hey, you work hard, you produce, we will find a way to reward you and get you up and make your dream come true of getting to the big leagues. I can see how it could be very frustrating. Like, hey, I've been hitting it well in AAA, but I'm just blocked forever. There's no chance to ever get up to the big leagues. And Bob said, just from an organizational standpoint, that lifts morale, all the way, every level. Hey, this guy who I was just playing with, and I could be as good as that guy. I've worked with him. He's now a big leaguer. Just makes everybody else maybe work that much harder and feel that much better about themselves in the process that they're undergoing when they know there is the opportunity for promotion to the big league.
Well, and I got to imagine, if you're a Padres prospect in the last 5 years, you basically know I'm days away, or especially around this time of year, Ben. You're like, I should just pack my bags for Pittsburgh or Seattle or Chicago or anywhere else, because I'm getting moved. I'm the 23rd best prospect in this system. There's a decent chance I won't be here in El Paso or Lake Elsinore or anywhere else. I know I'm going somewhere else because I don't have a path to the big leagues with San Diego, but I will with Detroit or Cleveland or Seattle.
And you should still be giving your 100%.
Oh, yeah,
and,
100%.
If you're not showing off for your own team, you're showing off for another team. Every at-bat's important.
It's the coaches. It's all those guys that put in the work. I mean, to get guys promoted.
You can't tell me that this isn't a morale boost for guys at AAA to see a couple of the guys they've been playing with all year get that call at this point. I think it absolutely is.
You have to do it. 100%.
So, yeah, Padres made some moves yesterday. Now, people like to 1 + 1 = 2. And look, they went out and played great. None of those guys got in the game yesterday.
No, did it with the guys that we've been doing it with. It was all the same
guys that you've been doing it with that did it yesterday. So I'm not going to take a giant leap and say, oh, they turned the corner thanks to the roster moves that the Padres made yesterday. But they sure played a great game last night. We will wrap it up with all of the highlights right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Fortunately, no big surprises on our roads this time. Looks like they are having to run a traffic break, though, to clear a stalled vehicle northbound side of the 5 at Imperial, trying to move that over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Miss any of yesterday's Padres game?
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, we've got you covered.
Thank you.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up with Ben & Woods.
Let's go! It's our house right here, baby!
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
That is the ball game, and that is a winner.
This about damn time.
3-2 offering. Fly ball to left field. Pretty well hit. Varsho going back. He's at the wall. It is gone. 2-run home run for Juan Soto, and the Padres take an early 2-0 lead against the Blue Jays here in the first. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on, base hit up the middle. They're going to send Springer on the RBI single by Matt Chapman, and the Blue Jays are on the board here in the bottom of the first inning on the 2-out RBI single. Padres lead is now 2-1. Home run number 17 on the season for Juan. First pitch to him, swung on, line drive into right field. Pretty well hit, coming in hard is the right fielder. Springer dives for it. It gets by him. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Fernando's going to score. Juan Soto Cruz is in with a double. Back-to-back doubles give the Padres a 3-1 lead here in the third. And look out, when Manny heats up, it usually lasts. Here's a drive to left field. Speaking of heating up, this one is at the wall. It is gone. Home run for Manny. Number 18 on the season. That gives the Padres a 5-1 lead. 2-1 to Sanchez. Driven to left field and deep. Going back is Varsho. He looks up. This one is gone. Second home run of the inning for the Friars. 9th home run of the season for Gary Sanchez. And the Padres now have a 6-1 lead here in the fifth. 1-1 to Grish. Fly ball. Pretty well hit to right field. Springer going back. He looks up. This ball is gone. Home run for Trent Grisham into the Padres bullpen. And the Padres now have a 7-1 lead on home run number 10 on the season for Trent. Fly ball left field, heading towards foul territory, but it's going to fall in fair over the head now of Whitfield, who is over in left field. It is going to go as a double for Jake Cronenworth. Juan Soto will score, and the Padres now lead 8-1. 3-2. Popped up center field. This ought to do it. Trent Grisham is going back. Ha-Seong Kim thought about it, but Trent's going to call him off, make the catch, and that'll do it. Padres with a convincing 9-1 victory over the Toronto Blue Jays in the opening game of this 3-game set.
You know, we've been able to do that at times after tough week series, tough games or whatever. It's finishing them out. So no drama today. Was great. Jacob did a really nice job there for us at the end. Found out a little bit about him, which could be a nice piece for us. Gave us 2 innings. So I think it wasn't as much about the runs early. It was about, adding on a little bit later and then no drama at the end.
I can't no one on the planet needed and wanted a no drama 8-1 win. No person deserved it more than Bob Melvin.
Might be low key my favorite
9-1,
Bob Melvin
sorry.
Soundbite of the year. No drama today was great.
It was great.
Oh,
that one and
phew.
Hey, Juan. Hey, Bob. What impressed you about today? Juan. Those two are
Juan,
just Hall of Famers.
He would never tell us publicly. I would love to know what was going through his mind. We were talking about was it the seventh inning?
Yeah.
Two guys get on
the chopper, the
air,
walk,
and you're just like, oh
God.
God! Like, what was Bob doing?
Probably rocking back and forth.
I'll have to say, only us as a Padres fan base can even act a little bit surprised when you win a game 9-1. Your pitcher is 8-0 in his last 10 starts, 9-2 on the year. Their pitcher was so bad he was sent back to rookie ball earlier this year and is 2-8 on the season. In any other city and any other matchup, you go, yeah, we should win this game easily.
Handily.
This is going to be a blowout. We'll get off to a good start in the series, and that's it. But for us, it's like, holy cow, a game actually played out the way it was supposed to. This is mind-blowing. The Padres won a game that everyone would have said, yeah, absolutely, you should win this game. Going away, you have the matchup in your advantage, head and shoulders over this other team tonight. And they did, and they won 9-1, and it finally happened.
Well, let me eat some words again this morning, because I said yesterday, I think we were wrapping up the show, hey, Ben's key to success for the game last night, and it was a really good one, and it was a nice prophecy because it came true. You said, I'd like to see the bullpen go out, no matter how many innings they pitch, and throw up zeros. And that's exactly what they did. Well done. Mine was, go out and attack Alek Manoah. Go out and just don't wait for your pitch. Go up there and hammer. Boy, I blew that one. They went up there and they grinded out a ton of ABs. He had 40 pitches or 40 pitches in the first, and they waited him out. Soto took what looked like strike three. Cole, went against Manoah, and Soto hits the next pitch out of the ballpark. That's a tough break, but I mean, that also went both ways last night. Terrible umpiring, as it usually evens out. But they waited him out, got him out after 3 innings, and then did some damage against the hard throwing guys that came in after that. And I loved it, man. Manny added on, and Grisham added on. Grisham's been playing really, really well. So Sanchez has done everything we've asked of him and continues to hit the long ball. Really, really fun night last night. But, shows you what I know. I wanted them going up there hacking off Manoah. They went out and instead waited him out, made him sweat literally through the first inning, and he was toast.
Had him up to close to 100 pitches in 3+ innings before they pulled him out with 2 on and nobody out in the top of the 4th.
Yep.
So, that's a great way to start a series, especially.
No question.
I like that in the first game, because then you're forcing the other team to use more arms and you still get 2 games. So many times I feel like the Padres do that in the last game of the series.
Yeah, correct.
Hey, yeah, you made their bullpen really work.
You
for
just
whatever
mentioned
team
the
they're
umpires.
facing next.
Yeah.
Are we saving what happened with the umpires and the Blue Jays pitching coach for Don't Do This, or do you want
No,
to
you
get
can play
to
it here. Yeah.
What the hell happened?
We're on a live stream, and all of a sudden I look up at the TV and I see the umpire throw out somebody. Now he pointed to
the whole team was on the mound.
Yeah, on the mound,
pitching visit.
And they turn around. He turns around and he throws a guy out, and it was their pitching coach. And apparently, and
I was trying to listen while we were all talking,
and
I heard something about Mud or Jesse were saying like, yeah, he had his hand over his mouth, and he must have said something
about the umpire.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happened on the broadcast.
And this is the Blue Jays broadcast.
Yeah, this is Dan
feed,
Schulman, who's
and
amazing.
They've seen this before.
They've seen this act before.
Pete Walker's on his way to the mound.
Pete might stay out there long enough talking to Alec to have Malachi Moore come to the plate or come to the mound to tell him.
They knew right away.
Break up the party.
He
See how long Pete stays out there. Here comes Malachi.
Stays out there.
Pete might have some words for other people aside from Alek Manoah right here.
Wow.
Seen this movie many a times.
Well, and somebody just got tossed.
Yeah.
Somebody in the dugout, or was it Pete?
You knew this was coming.
It was Pete, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Pete went out there with a message, and I'm sure Pete was pretty sure he wasn't coming back without getting tossed.
I knew this wasn't going to end well.
Yeah.
When you're a pitching coach, you take a lot of pride in that people you have out on the mound and the work that he's trying to accomplish, especially where Alec has come from. And Pete had about had enough.
I loved it, man. I mean, it was.
Boot had enough.
He's very sore.
That's some quality Major League Broadcasting right there.
No doubt.
I love Dan Schulman's voice so much.
I miss him.
Dan Schulman is incredible.
Does he still do ESPN
I don't think
Sunday
so.
Night Baseball? He did it for a long time.
He did,
he's got a little Don Orsillo, those deep, rich pipes, and just always on top of the action. And I love him, man. They're lucky to have him. He's really good.
Just the idea this is going to be a one-way trip to the mound for the pitching coach.
Yeah, I'm not coming back, guys.
Now, to me, though, there's 162 games. Like the Padres, they must have seen bad umpiring calls dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Cost him 2 runs though early.
And yes, Juan Soto should have struck out.
Yep.
He ended up hitting a home run. Guess what? In the next inning, Joe Musgrove had a strike 3, and then it ended up turning into an RBI single for a run. These things happen.
Yeah, it does
all the time. I get maybe if it's the 8th inning and you feel like they've all been going against you at some point, to do it in the second inning or whatever
second
it was,
or third inning.
Well, that's pretty early to be on the umpire's case in a game.
The other thing you have to think about, though, from his perspective, think about what Alek Manoah has been through this season and what his pitching coach getting thrown out does for him. Like what it does, it takes some of the heat off of him and says, hey, man, this isn't on you. This is on the umps. You want to keep his confidence high, right? Like you want to keep him. You don't want him beating himself up because at the end of the day, it has been a grind for Alek Manoah this year. And he did come back from that major demotion, pitched 6 innings. I think he gave up like 1 run. So he was trending in the right direction. Padres took it to him, though, last night. Knocked him out after 3 innings. He got a huge, huge win.
All right, we'll come back, play some Take on Woods. I want to talk about what went on the rest of the league. Padres scored 9 runs last night. That was the 13th most runs of any team in Major League Baseball last night.
Wow.
They weren't even in the top 10 with their 9 runs last night. It was one of the wildest days, maybe in Major League Baseball history. Get to that coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, let me just run through the scores of some of the games last night for you, Woodsy. Diamondbacks 16, Braves 13. Cubs 17,
runs.
Nationals 3. Royals 11, Tigers 10. Giants 11, Reds 10. Mets 11, White Sox 10. Guardians 10, Pirates 1. Dodgers 10, Orioles 3. Twins 10, Mariners 3. Add it all up. That is 12 different teams who scored in double digits in Major League Baseball last night. That's the most teams doing that in one day since, well, let's see, you're 48 now. So how old were you in 1894 when they did it last?
Negative something.
Almost 80 or something. Yeah, negative 80.
89.
I don't know where that came from, but it was a absolutely bonkers day in Major League Baseball yesterday in terms of runs being scored all over the place. Now, summer balls flying, you see some of that, later in the year, but nothing like to the extent that we saw yesterday.
No, that's wild. I mean, I'll take the 9. I'll just take 9. I feel like 9 runs is a nice little start for the Padres last night. Those 13 to 11 games, those are the ones that just murder you. They just absolutely murder you. And I liked what I saw last night from our guys. But yeah, no rhyme or reason to why a bunch of teams broke out last night. Did we pick up? Did we pick up anything last night? I think we picked up.
It's you're gonna always, because there's so many teams ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're always gonna pick up some ground on some of the teams.
Yeah, like because the Marlins lost.
Who are even watching right now? We're watching half the National League.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, you're right. It's half the National League.
You got to just take care of your own business.
I'm not specifically looking at we need this team to lose and this team.
We're not there yet.
You just need to win games. You will make up ground because they'll be playing each other. There's enough teams in front of you. Every game you win, you make up some ground on someone who's ahead of you likely. And that's all you need to do at this point. But ultimately, yesterday doesn't mean much unless you back it up. And today is a different story. Today, you were going up against a tougher pitcher in Jose Barrios. Yu Darvish is coming off a good start to open the second half of the season, obviously. But this is one of those games that you think Padres can definitely win it, but they're going to have to win it a little more of a close game. They're going to have to battle and find a way to pull out maybe a 1 or 2 run win, which they have been completely and utterly flummoxed by this season. So until the Padres find a way to start winning some of these close games, they're never going to put together a streak. This is why the Padres don't have a 4-game winning streak, because you can't win every game 9-1.
No, you just can't.
You can have a long streak, and you might, let's say you have a 10-game winning streak. You might have 3 or 4 blowout wins, but you'll also have several 1-run wins and 2-run wins, and the Padres don't have enough of those to put together a streak. That's what I'm looking for tonight, is a close victory for the San Diego Padres. That'll actually mean more to me than just going out and hitting 4 home runs. Padres always win when they hit 4 home runs. I think I saw the stat yesterday. There are 11-1 now when they hit 3 or more home runs. Great. You can't count on that more than once every 10 games that you're going to hit 3 or 4 home runs. You have to be able to win a 4-3 game. You have to do that if you want to get back into this race at all.
Really nice seeing Juan Soto barrel a couple of balls last night. Really nice seeing Manny Machado continue to barrel baseballs last night. That, as impressive as his home run was, that single he hit up the middle. Oh my God. I mean, talk about staying on one and just head on it and just barreling one up the middle. Just a beautiful, they were talking about it last night. They said very few guys, have a pretty right-handed swing, and that's true. Typically, your most beautiful swings in baseball history all come from the left side, right? The Will Clarks, the Ken Griffey Jr.'s. Manny is one of the rare exceptions that has that beautiful right-handed swing. It's my favorite right-handed swing I've ever seen, and that was a perfect example of when Manny's locked in, that's what he can do, and really, really nice to see him getting hot, Benny. OPS of about 1,200 over his last 7 games, so need him to continue to do that. Picking balls too. I mean, it was a really perfectly played game by the Padres.
And is it time to say it? But is Trent Grisham actually quietly putting together a decent season?
He is absolutely on the come, dude. There's no question. So barreling balls
in his last 23 games. This a tweet from Sammy Levitt last night. Trent Grisham, and this is now about a month because the All-Star break is included in that time. 316 batting average, 416 on base percentage, 1,008 OPS, 4 homers, 14 runs batted in, 7 doubles, a triple, 15 runs scored, and 4 stolen bases.
It's fantastic.
Now you can say, okay, it's one hot stretch. He was terrible before that. Yes, and no. Yeah, his numbers weren't good, but he was definitely one of the more unlucky players. He leads the Padres in extra base hits all season long, more than Juan Soto.
Yep.
I mean, and he's played Gold Glove defense all the way through.
Juan Soto has not.
We have looked for reasons like, when are they getting rid of Trent Grisham? When are they moving Fernando Tatis Jr. over to center field and trading Grisham away? Is it possible that move makes the Padres worse if they do that sort of thing? Is it time to start thinking about Trent Grisham again as one of the pieces of this team moving forward? I'm not ready to give him a 10-year extension by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm definitely
just leave it alone.
I'm definitely not as eager to get rid of Trent Grisham as I know many fans were just a month ago.
I think I'm going to enjoy the ride with Trent Grisham. I look at him. If he's your 8-hole, 9-hole hitter on a team with the guys at the top doing their job, I am absolutely 1,000% fine with him manning center field, Ben, till he's done. Right? And go out there. You're going to get some bombs. You're going to hit some doubles. You're going to be able to steal bags. And the defense he brings is spectacular.
I'm looking in our chat. I think it's by OPS, but there's the 8th best hitting center fielder in baseball.
Fine.
Top 3rd of all baseball hitting offensively. And we know he's top 5% defensively because he's that good. So, yeah, just keeping a quiet eye on Trent Grisham finally kind of being the player for a while that we thought he could be. We need a birthday contestant for Take on Woods. It doesn't have to be your birthday. It's Woods' birthday, but I'd like to see him get a good match today and Take on Woods. So if you'd like to join us, 833-288-0973, Woods' birthday, but you could win the prize and qualify for our grand prize drawing to Las Vegas in our musical trivia contest. We're about 2 minutes away, so call now. Phone lines are wide open, 833-288-0973. One other Padres news and note from yesterday. The team was able to make an agreement with their first-round draft pick, Dylan Head. He is going to get a $2.8 million signing bonus, their first-round draft pick. That is about $400,000 under what the recommended slot. And do I need to Ben-splain that? Or do we? So every first-round draft pick, Major League Baseball kind of puts out a list and said, here's what kind of your slot expected signing bonus is. Now, you don't have to go by that. You can go over. Like Paul Skeens got a record $9.2 million from the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday, the biggest ever for a number 1 overall draft pick. But Dylan Head got a little bit less. That gives them more to play with when they're signing some of their other players. Could help them, convince a guy not to go to college, a high school player, like, hey, we can kick in an extra $200,000 because we saved it off of our number 1 pick to sign some of the other guys that they drafted.
Why would Dylan Head sign under slot? Just because he's like, I'm not going to go to Clemson or whatever.
Yeah, maybe less leverage. They knew that he didn't have any interest in necessarily going. He
wanted to be a pro.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of different reasons.
Yeah.
But
just wanted to be a baseball player.
Wanted to be a big. He didn't want to start his relationship with the Padres by holding it out for the last 200,000 or whatever it was going to be.
What was he under? How much?
About 400,000 under slot. It was supposed to be like 3.16 million. He got 2.8 million.
Okay,
not a huge difference, but if he plays well, he'll make way more than that in the future. If he doesn't, he still has a nice nest egg to start his life out either
100%.
way. All right, look at all the birthday contestants.
We've got a contestant online. I took the call, and I think we got a first timer. He goes, did I hear something? Music trivia? Bring it on.
Okay, let's do it. All right, is this Keely on the line?
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Keely, nice to meet you. Not the Keely from Ted Lasso. All right, I get to explain our game.
No.
Paulie says we have a first-timer here.
For playing the game, yes, absolutely.
All right, so here's how it works. Woodsy has left the studio. He doesn't get to hear this part in his isolation chamber. You will go first. I'll give you 5 questions, 60 seconds. Answer as many of them as you can. And then Woods comes back. It's the same 5 questions. If you beat him or tie him, we will put you into our grand prize drawing, which this month is a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, to the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, and 2 tickets to see Skid Row and Warrant in concert on September 30th at their International Theater. You can get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Check out the $70 million room renovations as well at the Westgate, home of legendary Vegas fun. So Woods is very good at this game, Keely. So your advantage is you get to pick the category, and you kind of know what the category is going to be beforehand. He doesn't get it. So here are your choices. But Who's Counting? Going to be all about like counting in the songs. Sounds of Summer. Okay. Those are 5 musical answers that include the word summer. And Only Child, which is 5 song titles that begin with the word only. So any of those strike your fancy. But Who's Counting? Sounds of Summer, or Only Child, Keely?
Let's go with Summer.
Sounds of Summer. Okay, so we're looking for 5 answers. Could be band names, could be artists, could be song titles. Somewhere the word summer is going to play in. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass, because we can come back to it if there's still time left on the clock and you think of it. The first question is a 2-second song. Paulie will play about 2, 3, 4 seconds of something that should be a well-known hit. You need to give me the title and artist with that little snippet to score the point there, and then we'll go on. So, Keely, are you ready to play? Keely?
Yeah, absolutely. Game on.
All right, you're ready to play. All right, here we go. 60 seconds on the clock. Category Sounds of Summer. Your time begins when Paul plays our music. Remember, you need the title and the artist here. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
All right, which queen of disco was known for hits including Hot Stuff and Bad Girls?
Donna Summer.
Correct. Don Henley found inspiration for which song when he saw a Cadillac Seville with a Grateful Dead sticker on the San Diego freeway?
Boys of Summer.
Correct. What's blowing through the jasmine in my mind in a 1972 hit for the duo Seals and Crofts?
Summer Breeze.
Correct. Which Australian pop band has recent hits including Youngblood and She Looks So Perfect?
Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song, Paulie.
Summer Girls.
No, incorrect. Which Australian pop band has recent hits including Youngblood and She Looks So Perfect?
I don't know.
That's all right. You played well today. Got a couple seconds left. Time is up, but not bad.
Not bad,
3 for a
not
first-timer. 3 is a good score. You got Donna Summer, Boys of Summer, and Summer Breeze. That song was Cruel Summer by Bananarama, and the Australian pop band is 5 Seconds of Summer. Last one's always the toughest one, I think. I try to make it that way at least. All right, now we bring Woods back in. All right, Keely's score is locked in. Keely, hang on the line, because if you win, we'll need to get all your information and everything. So stay there. Woods puts his headphones on. He didn't hear any of that part, and he doesn't get the category.
I did just hit myself in the face.
I do that
with
all
my
the
headphones,
time.
and it really,
especially when you're wearing a hat.
It really hurts.
It does. All right. 60
Still
seconds.
hurting.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Honestly.
60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, birthday boy. Let's take on Keely.
Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Correct. Which queen of disco was known for hits including Hot Stuff?
Donna Summer.
Correct. Don Henley found inspiration.
Boys of Summer.
Correct. What's blowing through the jasmine in my mind? In a
Summer Breeze.
Correct. Which Australian pop band has recent hits including Youngblood and She Looks So Perfect?
7 seconds to summer.
Oh, so close.
Ooh.
It's only 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
5 seconds of summer.
5 seconds of summer.
A pretty good guess. And by a 4-3 score, you pull it out in your birthday against a good competitor, first timer in Keely. Hey, Keely, not this time, but thanks for playing. Try again. You can still get your name into the drawing later this month, but Woods just nipped you today on his birthday, 4-3. 7 seconds to summer.
What is that? What I said?
Yeah, that's what you said.
What is it?
5 seconds of summer.
5 seconds of
summer.
The only reason
the category, of course, was
summer.
Sounds of Summer.
Sounds of Summer. Stern loves that band. Are they like a boy band?
Yeah.
He loves that band, and he talks about that. I think he had him in. He likes weird music. He always has, and he loves that band for some reason. 5 Seconds of Summer.
Yeah.
Correct.
I've never heard them.
You're gonna pull up a little
Yeah, I
5
wanna
second
hear
little
a-
young blood, maybe,
a
or She
little.
Looks So Perfect.
It was a young blood.
Oh God.
I can say definitively.
No.
I don't like it,
no. Oh no.
You never heard the song?
No.
I've heard it. Yeah.
It's the worst thing I've ever heard. Oh God. Oh God, no, make it stop. This is the worst birthday present of all time. Why does he like that?
Give him some Boys of Summer or Summer Breeze or
Summer,
something.
anything else.
We've
but
got Don't Do This coming up next. I think in Do This, I mean, we haven't talked about him in a couple of weeks, but he continues to absolutely shine up in Lake Elsinore. I'm talking, of course, about Ethan Salas.
Fantastic stuff from the young man. Begs the question. Is he ready?
Is he ready? All right, we'll get to that coming up. Don't forget Adam Jones in studio at the top of the hour as well. Stick around. More Ben and Woods coming up after a check of traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this.
Do not tweet that.
With Ben and Woods.
I like a Nickelback song or two.
On 97.3 The Fan.
I knew that this text would come back to bite me, and I can't believe that you guys are going to call me out.
This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by the Golf Mart. Yeah, the birthday boy is actually in the crosshairs. Today on Don't Do This.
Don't do this.
Oh, no.
So you were downtown yesterday.
No, I
Don't do
wasn't. I
this.
got this from
you got this from someone else.
from our buddy Chad. Sent this in our Instagram chat, and I'll be honest with you. I was incensed a little bit.
I'll be honest with you. I laughed. I go, what is this? And then, I don't know, 2 seconds later, I realized what was happening.
I didn't open the entire picture.
So if you're down by Petco Park right now, and you are behind home plate, and you look at one of the tower that's on the third base side,
like the bridge coming across the Hilton,
Yeah.
you're looking right at Petco Park.
you're gonna see a giant picture of a janitor, essentially.
Yeah.
A guy holding a big broom and a trash can lid. And Woods texted us yesterday going, there's a giant janitor on Petco Park now, by the way, thinking that the Padres have a new sponsor? Like they've added a new sponsor, big janitor guy. Padres baseball brought to you by Big Janitor Guy.
Now again, I have
Janet King.
I have a massive amount of respect for janitors and the like. That said, I went, when is enough? When is there enough? Like, are we really? We're really gonna. I know things have been bad this year. What kind of message is that for the players pulling in? And there's a guy with a broom and a mop bucket. Like, yeah, I'm like, in my mind, I thought, Eric Group, come on, man. Like, let's not sell our souls for
Every advertiser
for money.
out there.
You're right.
We're now, again, like you said, an honest and respectable profession, but not something you're usually going to see on the outside of a Major League Baseball ball.
So I sent it to you guys. And go, why is there a big janitor on the side of Petco Park? I know things are a little dire, but
I think in my head, Woods, it's.
Do you see the big words?
Nope,
at the top
I did not open the thing.
It's Comic-Con. It's an ad for the television program.
Idiot.
On Hulu and coming soon
What's
to
Hulu?
ABC.
What is Hulu?
What is Hulu?
And coming soon to ABC 10.
Yes.
Abbott Elementary.
Bring him up. Hulu.
Did I say Hulu?
You said Hulu.
Hold on. Remix.
Thank you.
Hulu. And ABC. Abbott Elementary.
The show?
Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, it's Abbott Elementary. I haven't
It's like
watched it, but
one of the
I've
most
heard
popular shows on television.
About it.
It's won every award they have.
Patton Oswalt, isn't he in it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. You would like it.
I've never heard of it.
I think you would like it.
I didn't know.
No. And with Comic-Con in, they do all the advertising in town, downtown. Lots of buildings have big posters and things with movies and television shows because we have tens and thousands of people coming to town who are interested in such things right now. So got to get your eyeball, get in front of a lot of eyeballs down there at Petco Park right now.
If it was Spider-Man, I would have said, oh, right. It would have jogged my memory. I forgot that they don't just do like superheroes and they put him up there. And I thought, man, when is enough?
I think, Comic-Con's more than anything now. It's pop culture, TV shows, movies.
Absolutely true.
I don't know if this counts as a don't do this, but a second team has joined the Padres in losing their TV rights. Yesterday, the Diamondbacks no longer have Bally Sports and the Diamond Sports Group as a broadcast partner. They officially got a judge's ruling, and Diamond got out of their deal. They wanted to escape their deal with the Diamondbacks. Had a $1.5 billion deal with Arizona that they are now no longer on the hook for, which means MLB, like they did with the Padres, has taken over Arizona Diamondbacks telecasts as well. Unfortunately, they're keeping Bob Brenly. So there's the other part of the don't do this for the Arizona Diamondbacks television broadcasts. All right, finally, do this. And we haven't talked about him in a couple of weeks. He started out really hot when the Padres signed him, and as a 16-year-old, sent Ethan Salas to Single-A Lake Elsinore. Kind of went into just a bit of a slump, not a huge one, but, an adjustment period. He's come on like gangbusters here in July. Last night, I had a triple and then a walk-off double off the wall in center field. We got the highlight of it?
We do.
Wow.
We're tied at 8. The chance for Ethan Salas to walk things off. He drills one in the air to center field. Going back is Rodriguez. That's off the top of the wall, and the Storm are going to walk things off. First pitch swinging, Ethan Salas drills one off the wall in center field, and the Lake Elsinore Storm are victorious tonight, 9-8 over the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes.
Yeah, I think his OPS is now close to 900 as a 17-year-old now in Single-A.
Come on.
The guy is remarkable. We had Chris Kemp on Friday last week, and
that was a wild response that Chris Kemp gave. Remember, he goes, I actually don't really want to say much more. Like, it's kind of like you were talking about Trent Grisham earlier. I'm like, let's just be quiet and see what happens.
But he admitted, like, before they actually signed him, best prospect he's ever scouted.
Pretty amazing, man. Pretty amazing. 17 years
Brings
old.
everything to the table. And not just tools, but the maturity, the feel for the game, teamwork, leadership. He's got like the whole package.
Be cool, everybody.
Just calm down.
A premium position that is very, very hard to fill.
We've been looking
for the Padres more than any other team.
We've been looking for easily over a decade. So
how many seasons have we gone into opening day with AJ Preller having, I don't know, six catchers that could all be on the roster at any given point.
None of them were anybody special.
He was carrying 3 guys at a time for a couple years.
Yeah, we had 4 that one opening day. We had 4 that opening day.
Christian Bethencourt was like the hybrid catcher, pitcher, outfielder.
I like to call him the original Shohei Ohtani, Christian Bethencourt. But no, I'm so excited about the prospects of this young man and look forward to seeing what he can do over the next couple of years. And we'll see Ethan Salas 2025 midseason call-up.
And that is don't and do this for Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, an anonymous Major League Baseball assistant general manager working with ESPN on the trade deadline has chimed in on what they think the Padres should do at the trade deadline. A former GM that works for Sirius has chimed in on what the Padres should do. And Joe Musgrove, by the way, talked about it as well last night. We're going to have all of that coming up for you when we come back with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sarah on the Fan brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, or both, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next?
Paulie, I just got your email. Paulie sent me a gift card to Benihana, which we are going to on Saturday. Thank you very much,
great.
buddy. Appreciate it.
I didn't know that.
We are going Saturday, taking the kids for their first time to Benihana, our beloved Benihana. So now I'm set.
I would have felt
you, G.
like a fraud, even though I knew that was one of your favorite restaurants in the past.
Best.
Now that I've been there, I'm like, oh yeah, this is worthy of a birthday gift card.
I told you I would eat it every day if I could. Every single day. Hire a man to have a griddle. I have a griddle. Mine's not the same. And I walk out in the morning. Hey, good morning. How you doing, Bill? Yeah, I'll see you at lunch. And I'd eat it for lunch. I'm just going to do the fried rice and shrimp today for lunch. And then at dinner, I would do the whole bit.
I'm so glad you saw that because you were in the restroom earlier. I sent that over early this morning for the show.
Yeah, I just got it.
I just got it. And I didn't want to, I wasn't looking for a thank you or anything like that. But I go, you're in the bathroom. I go, Ben, what's the etiquette here on, hey, have you checked your email? So I'm not looking for the thank you. I just want to make sure you don't delete it.
You get it or it goes to spam.
Yeah.
Every company that I've ever bought anything from ever has flooded my inbox with happy birthday messages. And I guess I'm going to end up dropping some coin today because that's how they get you.
Happy birthday. I spent $2,000
This is unbelievable.
Jersey Mike's and Callaway.
This is incredible.
Let's say you did have your own personal Benihana chef at home. Would you make them do the tricks or you just want the food?
Depends on the day.
Onion volcano.
Would depend.
Shrimp
on the day.
flips.
Some night, I think I would probably do the shrimp flips every day.
Every night.
Yeah. I think so. I just love it. The fried rice is it's just spectacular. And I do the griddle too in the backyard, but I don't use the 1 pound of garlic butter that they use on theirs, which probably is why it tastes as good as it does.
Everybody at our table when we went a couple weeks ago, was like, can we get more garlic butter on that?
Yeah, more,
like
please.
Like this? A little more.
Pounds.
How about this?
Pounds of it.
Just a little more.
Just
insane. That's why restaurant cooking tastes so good.
It tastes so good.
There's no secret to it.
Not good for you.
They just use a lot more butter than in normal life.
Exactly right.
It's very true. All right. I am not here to try to get your hopes up, Padres fans, because I don't want to set you up for more disappointment.
Like we've already done.
Yet other people around Major League Baseball are doing it this morning. Talk about that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Been pretty quiet on the roads for the most part, guys, but we do have a couple of problems along eastbound 78. One is this stalled pickup truck in middle lanes just before Nordall Road. Then up ahead, right before the 15, we have reports of a collision. Looks like a couple vehicles involved there in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So just like, I'm on my diet and I've been really good, but every once in a while you have a little bit of a cheat. And I've also been on a diet of not tweeting about the Padres run differential since the All-Star break. I've really tried to avoid those tweets. I think they just mostly anger people.
I think that's when that guy called you a, what was it? An exceptional moron? What was it?
Excruciating moron. Yeah. Maybe that's why I've been trying to refrain from those tweets. But I broke the fast.
You did? Oh,
last
no.
night. Yeah. Because I did tweet that the Padres now at 5 games under 500 have the exact same run differential, plus 44, as the 20 games over 500 Baltimore Orioles. Same runs scored, runs against difference, 20 games over 500, 5 games under 500.
But you do realize, though, that when you couple a feast or famine offense with an elite run-preventing defense, that's what you're going to get.
I totally understand how it's happened, and we got this tweet this morning. Jim Bowden from Sirius XM, former MLB general manager. The Padres sit 45 and 50, 10.5 games behind LA, 7.5 games behind in the wild card. However, only the Braves and Dodgers have a better run differential in the NL, and their expected win-loss is 52 and 43. The metrics scream that this team is as good as we think, and they'll soon make a run. That's from Jim Bowden. Now, if I'm sitting out there, and I'm sure you are, very, very skeptical. Why would this be the moment the Padres go on a run when we thought last week was the moment, and 2 weeks ago was the moment, and a month ago was the moment, and 2 months ago was the moment? Because this has been true about the Padres' run differential all season long, and yet they have never found it in themselves to go on this run that people like Jim Bowden and Ben Higgins have been expecting all season long. Because, well, the metrics do scream that this team is as good as we think, but they're not as good as we thought that they were. So I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up. However, we do have a trade deadline coming up, and the Padres will have some decisions to make. And ESPN enlisted the services of a assistant general manager. Our friend Jesse Rogers got one of his anonymous people to come in from a team that is not on the bubble, but he said, okay, here are the teams that they could go either way. They could be buyers or they could be sellers. They're not fully in the playoff picture, but they're not completely out of it. Teams like the Angels, the Mariners, the Tigers, who aren't that far out in the Central, Mets, Cubs, and of course the San Diego Padres. And he asked this assistant GM, just give us your honest opinion. If you were this team, what would you do right now at the trade deadline? And of the Padres, he said this, or she: stand pat. When Padres general manager AJ Preller has ever stood pat, this might be the year. There's no way the Padres can add again, not with a depleted farm system in their place in the standings. But there's no reason to trade away any of their major players either. Maybe they can make a second half run, but there's always next year. That's what an anonymous assistant GM says.
Which is fine. I mean, you can't stand pat, though. That's if you look at the bullpen, you just can't stand pat. Like you said, you're not going to score 9 a night, and you might in your wins, you might in those wins, but in those close games where maybe Darvish can only give you 5 or 6 tonight, you got to cover 4 innings, and you just don't feel like you have the bullets down there to cover.
Well,
cover more than one, really,
at some
one or
point,
two.
You have to make a decision on your direction. Are you trying to play the rest of the season to make the playoffs, or are you trying to make a better situation for yourself in 2024 and beyond?
Exactly.
And if you decide the latter, then you have to trade away a couple of players, like a Josh Hader and possibly a Blake Snell. You can't say, oh no, we're kind of building for the future, and then keep guys who are going to leave for nothing at the end of the season. So,
there is the possibility that Peter Seidler looks at what he watches on a nightly basis and says to AJ Preller, look, let's try to re-sign Blake Snell, who has been like the best pitcher in baseball over the last 2 months. Let's try. Maybe we don't do it now, but let's try to really, really keep Blake Snell. Let's not move him at the deadline. Let's try also, AJ, to maybe keep Josh Hader. If you think you've got a run in you, and to be honest with you, nothing that this team has done this year shows me that they have a run in them. I mean, until they show us that they have a run in them, Ben. Now, if they go on a run right now, changes things a little bit.
I mean, and I also agree with you that if you all are thinking about a run, you can't stand pat. Now, you might not make a giant move, but you have to add some pitching depth.
You have to add arms.
And one more bat would be very helpful for the Padres going forward.
So many teams right now are going to be looking for help.
Yeah.
Which
makes the price more expensive.
It does, but if you do decide to go the other direction, you can get a lot more for Blake Snell and Josh Hader. And that's the dilemma that AJ Preller faces right now.
I know this is going to be unpopular, but I think there's a good argument to be made that you trade Blake Snell no matter what.
Really?
I just feel like if Shohei Ohtani doesn't get traded, he might be the most valuable commodity, at least as a rental on the market right now.
No doubt.
As hot as he's pitching, with the credentials that he's had, Cy Young, he's pitched in the World Series, pitched in the playoffs last year. To me,
his sub-1 ERA, Ben, over his last, this is not a mirage. This isn't a couple of good weeks.
To me, there are contenders that will place a bidding war and will overpay for Blake Snell. You could get an arm that is like on the verge of breaking through to Major League Baseball, but is not going to help that team in this playoff run, but might help the Padres next year.
And you can always go try and sign Blake Snell again.
But here's the reason why I think the argument to trade Blake Snell. Do you really trust Blake Snell going forward. I mean, maybe the second half of the season, his track record's always been good, but if you re-signed him, are you expecting to see this Blake Snell, or are you expecting tear your hair out for the first 2-3 months of the year next year again?
But see, we haven't done that this year. We haven't.
For Blake Snell?
Yeah.
We did for a couple of months.
I would say
maybe a month, a little less than usual.
Well, he got his run all started really well before the second half started, which is only a week old.
Remember, you'll be doing it at 2-3 times the price of what you're doing it for him now.
True.
And I don't want to go down that road. I'm not ready to get to April and May last year at Blake Snell at 3 times what he's making now and go 104 pitches, 4 2/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, and you're losing 4-1. I don't want to go down the road with Blake Snell anymore again. I love him. I really do. I don't want to overpay for him in free agency. Has
he finally gotten comfortable?
Maybe. I don't trust it. I don't trust the guy.
How many brilliant starts in a row does he need to have? He won two playoff games for us last year. He did. So, I mean, where are we going without him? Who replaces him next year in the rotation?
That's why I think you look to what you get in a possible Blake Snell trade, an overpay for Blake Snell that really does help you, that adds pitching pieces, maybe a starter and a bullpen piece.
Yeah.
That could both help you next year, that is controllable, that helps you go out and then you fill in along the edges. Find the next year's Michael Wacha or Seth Lugo, and you continue to build the rotation behind Musgrove and behind Darvish that way. I just don't know that signing Blake Snell at a premium. You don't think that Blake Snell might, when he's starting to get paid huge money, that might not play in his head a little bit? Oh, I'm making all this money now. Not that he'd get complacent. I think he's a competitor. Just the fact that it always seems tough for him to get comfortable. It always worries me. I wish nothing but the best for him. I really do.
He has put together such a run.
He has.
Such a run. I mean, I can't think of anybody right now that's on a better run than him, starting pitching wise in Major League Baseball. I mean, he is, when he takes the ball right now, 4 pitches, all working, locked in. Again, he's never going to be a guy that goes and gives you 8-9 innings. That's just not who he is. He's a big strikeout guy, so he throws a lot of pitches. But man, when he takes the ball right now, we have a brilliant chance to win.
I'll tell you one guy who's on a pretty dang good run, though. He's also on the San Diego Padres. Joe Musgrove is 8-0.
He's underpaid
with a 1.76 ERA in his last 10 starts. And you know who is also facing the real possibility that Blake Snell could be traded? Is Joe Musgrove. Did you hear what he said after the game last night? We had this audio, 97.3 The Fan Twitter page from the clubhouse after the game. As candid as I have ever heard a Major League Baseball player talking about the trade deadline. This is what Joe had to say.
Do you see a sense of importance on these games in the next 2 weeks before the deadline to kind of solidify yourselves as buyers, as in contention, or do these games kind of be the same as the rest of them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think many guys in here have thought a whole lot about whether we're buying or selling. I feel like whether we buy or sell, we're a really good team regardless. There's certain guys that are not going to sell. And, even if we do sell off, the guys that are available, the Blakes, the Haters that, are going to be available at the end of the year, we have a good team in here without those guys. Obviously we're not the same team without them, but we do have a good team. So I feel like that's not as much a concern. We're not really thinking about that. We're thinking about winning games one at a time and just putting as many as we can together in a row.
It is wild to hear that
answer, but to hear him actually say names like, hey, I know Blake's a free agent. I know Hater's a free agent.
Yeah, he's no dummy.
I understand how this works. And those guys will come up in discussions over the next couple of weeks, and they might not be with us. But to say what needed to be said, even if we trade those guys, I think we're still a very good baseball team.
Well, you haven't been a very good baseball team with those guys. I don't see how you take your one of your hottest pitcher and then your elite closer and be like, yeah, is that just something you say?
Maybe.
Because you have to. I don't know. We should ask the expert.
What?
The expert is here. The great Adam Jones joins us live in studio. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Chop that thing. Yep. Yeah, like this.
Boom.
Like right there. Yeah, you want to be right.
This close?
Yeah, ooh, that's good.
Yeah,
Now you
nice.
sound
I'll
deep
listen
and
to you
rich.
now.
Yeah, there you go.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's great to be here. Great to be in San Diego. I brought the good weather.
You did.
Everybody said it was cold the last couple of weeks. Or
No, it's
something
been great.
Is this what it's like in Spain? Warm and
beautiful,
beautiful,
sunny.
Okay. Yeah.
How weird
Little
is it?
marine layer.
How weird is it though? You've been in Spain and all these other places, and then you come back here, and it's like there's a Mickey D's on every corner. There's a Subway. It's weird, right? Like
not in Rancho Santa Fe. Go to Jersey Mike's.
All right. Driving from the airport in. I bring it up because I was watching The Sopranos again
They got
recently.
Mickey D in Spain.
Yeah, well, I get it. There's like one though, right? Okay.
No, they're all over.
Are they? Okay.
No, they're all over.
Shows you what I know.
What was that place that all the American junk food and cereals that you go to?
Oh, yeah.
that you
Oh,
told us
Taste of
about?
America.
Taste of America.
Like, every time I just miss home, I just want to go get some $12 Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like, come on.
So I was watching Sopranos, and Furio goes over to Italy, and it's beautiful, and there's it's everything. It's old school. And then he comes back to Jersey, and he's driving off the airport. It's like Burger King and all these places. He just this look of disdain and disgust. And I thought, I wonder if that's how AJ feels now that he's back in America.
Don't harm me. I have not seen The Sopranos. I know. Shocking. I'm going to watch it.
Well,
I'm going to binge it.
Woods has watched it like
I'ma watch
30
it.
times.
Hey,
so,
I've watched The Wire 30 times.
Oh,
See,
that's
I
a
couldn't get
Baltimore
into
show.
the why. That's a
See?
Baltimore show.
Yeah, but I'm from San Diego.
Well,
you're also from Baltimore now.
Yeah, you got
exactly.
it.
You know what I mean?
Please watch it.
I am.
And text me if you have any questions on like the language and stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
'Cause
There's
I
one
know-
line that I'm gonna say off air to you.
Okay.
That's like the funniest line, and my friend told me to say it at the most inappropriate time, and I did not say it.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
All right. Well, I
Let me
want
tell
you.
though.
I want you.
I'll
to
tell you on the
watch it.
course later.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's
All
no
right.
mics out there.
I can't wait.
And you know it's this guy's birthday, right? Right here.
My
Yeah.
birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't bring me anything.
That's okay. His
All right.
presence is present enough.
That's true.
Yet
to see him
Yet.
in studio.
It's in the car.
He's like, all right, go to the store after radio.
Stop
You know
by
what I mean?
7-Eleven.
Hey, jumping the gun over here.
I'm putting you with him. He'll be your partner.
Oh, it's
on
me
the
and you
golf
against
course
them today.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
we set the teams earlier, so you got
Yeah,
the
I know
birthday boy.
you get the holes though. I know.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple strokes if
Stop
you need
it.
them.
Stop
Yeah, we
we'll
get like
negotiate.
we get
we'll
like
negotiate,
30.
we'll
So
negotiate on the strokes. No, you're not getting 30. Paul has played. How many times have you played golf in the?
In the last like 3 months,
Yeah.
like twice.
Twice.
I'm taking Paul. We'll he can pop it out there though. We'll be okay. All right, we'll come back. So Adam's in studio for the next hour, which we're looking forward to. We'll talk obviously more about the Padres and where they stand right now. We'll just shoot the breeze as well. So fun to have him here. It's Ben and Woods. Do not go anywhere. Second half of the show on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Welcome to CenturyLink, formerly Level 3 Communications. Operator.
Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. We are halfway home on a Wednesday. It's great to be here. Great to be celebrating another birthday, 48 years. A lot of people say years young. I don't say years young. I say 48 years old. I've lived every second of this 48 years. I've earned all of this pain in my body. But we've got a professional athlete who probably will laugh. Like, look, I have a wrist brace on. Adam Jones is in with us because my wrists hurt. What hurts the most? Long storied career.
Hips
hurt. Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, one day I'm gonna need
replacement.
Probably both. Yeah. Yeah.
That used to be like bad news. They've gotten much better at the hip replacements. I've heard.
Well worth it.
100%.
I'd do it all over again.
How are your knees?
Knees are fine.
Knees are good.
Yeah.
Arms good. Shoulder, all that.
Yeah, arms good. Shoulders good. The hips.
What do you think you neglected taking care of your? There's just nothing you can do. Just degenerative.
It was part degenerative, part playing on it. That was an injury that I had trying to make a play when I shouldn't have tried it. The game was late. It was
like George Springer last night diving for that ball and he wasn't even close to.
But yeah, I was trying to make a play that I'm trying to make a play. I'm
trying to make a play.
Yeah, and I remember when it happened, and I'm like, hey. And then the next day, I'm like, oh, this hurts a little bit. But sometimes you can't treat injuries at certain times because free agencies, end of the year, playoffs. So sometimes you have to play through it. And I just played through it. But it was part of degenerative too. And, sometimes that was my downfall. I wouldn't say my downfall. I would say that was my injury. Then I knew that early with the Mariners. We found out that I had femoral acetabular impingement, FAI, short, in 2006 when I was 20. I went to Colorado Springs and my hips just started hurting really bad. I have no idea why. And I played the first game. I sat out the next two. We flew to another city and act like nothing. I have no idea why it didn't hurt anymore. But I got called up and they did an MRI and they were like, okay, you have an impingement here. Let's do these workouts to make sure and ensure that your hips are strong. I did that my whole entire career. So.
And that's it. That's
no complaints, brother.
Your back's good. Everything's good.
Back is sore a little bit. Too many golf swings.
Yeah, that'll get you.
But no, I'm good.
It's wild though too, because when we go down to fantasy camp and you talk to the trainers and stuff, there is an old school, I think, mentality. There's some coaches that will kind of walk by the trainer's room every day and look for the guy that's constantly in there, right? Like you almost don't want to. You have all that at your disposal. You can go in, get massages, everything you need. but you almost don't want to be that guy that's always in the training room, right?
Like, a good friend of you guys is Brett Boone, right?
Yeah. We love Booney.
So I went in there in 2004, my very first spring training. I go in there and ask the trainer to tape my wrist. And what you do with the trainer to tape your wrist, you put their hand on their chest, and they tape your wrist. Yep. He smacked the hell out of my wrist and said, "Hey, do your own tape, Rook." Hey, I tape my wrist my entire career. I never had a trainer tape my wrist ever. I've never had a trainer take my wrist.
Literally their job.
What's he there for?
Yeah, never had a trainer take my
You
wrist.
can't get
One time,
big leagued by the trainer. You're a rookie.
I got breaking by Boone. He was like, "Hey man, get out here, smack."
I always thought rookie players were always ahead of anyone that's. I mean, obviously the veteran players will haze the rookies.
Yeah,
but I think the rookie players are still above the staff.
No,
right? No.
Rookies are above nobody.
Oh wow,
you're a rookie. The staff has been there for years.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, it hurt, and I was like, okay. So every time I had pre-roll and tape in my locker my entire career. Always travel with it.
That's fit. Booney. I gotta ask. Was he Hazer? I can see him being a Hazer.
He just had a look, and I'm sure you've seen that look. He's
seen
like, all right, let's just go this way. All right, I'm going that way.
That's amazing.
But the best thing about him though is he told me, he was like, hey kid, because I was a shortstop at the time. He was, hey, just give me the ball, and I got to play like 2 innings at shortstop with him because he stayed in for one more extra at bat.
Yeah,
and he was like, just give me the ball anywhere it's at. I don't care where it's at. I'm like, okay. I get a ground ball. I'm nervous. I rush it to him. Terrible. Throw it behind him. He turns that double play quicker than hell, and I'm like, he's like, "Hey, baby,
I told you."
The field. I'm like, this is the big leagues. That's a big league. If I did that 2 weeks prior with the minor league guy, or an inning after that with the minor league guy, that ball is all in right field line.
They mentioned that last night on the broadcast. So the Padres called up this kid, Alex Jacob, and he had one batter before. They were going to use it for 2 innings last night, and if he looked good. First ball he throws, ripped down to third base. Manny, easy, just and Mud and Jesse said, yeah, he's never had a third baseman like that before. This is different. This is not that ball scoots through in the minor league.
Oh, he was ready to back up a base right there.
100%. That's a triple. Yeah, in the minor.
Defense in the big leagues is completely different.
That's awesome.
Is different.
We were also talking about Manny. Obviously, you played with him for so long. Marveling at so many things that he does, but very quietly on the double play turn, he always puts it right
every time
on the money
every time
for the
first
second
base
base
side of the bag.
Always.
Yes, I mean
always.
he never misses, and it can be to his left, to his right. He plays it back, charges it. It doesn't matter. The feed he gives whoever's playing second base that night is. I just always tell my son, watch his throws. He makes it so easy, even for Crony at first. Whoever's playing first, it's electric. By the way, if you guys missed the show a couple weeks ago when we had Adam Jones on, he joins us live in the studio here on Ben and Woods. Manny was scuffling, and he got a text from you, and he's been white hot since. I mean, literally since you texted. What did you text him? Clean it up.
Hey, you got to clean it up, man. He's just he's a star. The way this team goes on his back, we all know that he's hot. Team's gonna be hot.
I'm giving you all the credit.
No, I'm not. I'm not taking nothing. I'm not hitting 90 mile an hour sliders.
Why didn't I think of that?
I should have cleaned it up.
Why didn't I think of that?
I should have cleaned it up earlier.
I mean, come on.
I'm gonna start texting you that. Clean it up.
Clean it up, man. You need him hot. You need him to go. He is the leader of that team.
No
I mean,
doubt.
obviously Fernando's gonna do his thing. Bogart's gonna do his thing, but Manny is hot.
I've been
There's
saying
no
for
better player in
months.
baseball
No
than
one
me.
listens to me though. They listen to Adam. They don't listen to me.
I love that. If you texted Manny, clean it up, he's gonna slit your throat.
Of course.
Yeah, when he sees you, he's gonna prison shank you,
He's gonna
dude.
be like my locker or like what is it, my car.
I know you're not talking to me.
Things are cleaned up.
He's like, I know you lost 25 pounds, but you're not talking to me about cleaning anything up. Well, he's been awesome. It's great having you in. Welcome back to the States. How long are you in town for?
I'm leaving Friday.
Okay.
Stayed an extra day. I mean, so many people to see.
Yeah.
You've been here for a while, though, in America.
Yeah, but we
East
started in the
Coast.
Hamptons. My wife didn't want to come to Seattle. I know.
Yeah.
That's where the billionaires live.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And,
How was the All-Star scene and festivities? We didn't talk to you last week.
It was great.
We didn't talk
honestly.
about that bomb you gave up to a pitcher, by
Bro,
the way, either.
Everything.
I saw you ducking out of the way,
see
too.
that?
Yeah.
So people are talking about, oh, you gave up all these runs, or ERA is sky
This
high.
is the celebrity softball
Celebrity
game we're
softball
talking
game.
about.
I looked at it this way. I'm auditioning for a hitting coach. I gave so much confidence to these
You did.
batters.
Yeah, you really
You know,
did.
I fed them just a nice fresh piece of fruit.
Meatballs.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I mean,
Sean Casey can be a hitting coach. You can be
That's
Sean Casey's
exactly
a better
right.
hitter than I was.
Yeah,
That's facts. But hitting is extremely hard, but you also have to understand like the game. You still got to understand the game. You can't just sit there and do this and say, swing at this, don't swing at. Nah, man, you got to see the game. And Casey watches the game.
Yeah, he's good, man.
I mean, he watches it. I mean, diligently, and he was a fantastic hitter. Not saying that that's going to correlate 100% in him being the greatest hitting coach. No, but he has a different perspective because he's done it, and he has the smartness and brains to take the analytics and take the analytics and use it. He's not just going to be like, oh, one guy, the new way to do it is just do this. Numbers say this. No, that's not how you hit a baseball.
That's got to be tough, though, because every guy has a different swing. So you can't be as a hitting coach. You need to put your hands higher. This is what you need to do because you can't coach everybody the same. They've all learned their swings over the course of their lives coming up. You got to know each individual player completely different. You may coach every player differently, right? Than what you might say to a different guy.
Well, trying to homogenize swings is that's high school. That's my coach used to take a bat, put it against your chest and against the fence, and that's your zone. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't swing that way. And he wanted 9 guys in the lineup, all with the same short little hit the ball hard up the middle swing, and I didn't swing that way.
It doesn't work like that. And you see the whole uptick with the launch angle. Launch angle, I mean, that's been a part of the game for a while, but I think Chris Bryant was the first one. They start to model after him in his swing. He's 6'5".
Right.
Hey, you're 4'6", bro. You can't do that.
Right.
You're 5'8". Sorry. The swing ain't for you.
Right.
See Altuve? You see how he comes down the ball?
Yeah.
Sorry. That's what your swing is.
That's what you do.
You can't do what Manny does. You can't do what this guy does. You're not his skill set. You're not his size. You can't bat like Trout. You can't bat like Judge. You're not 6'8", 270.
Yeah, it's different.
Certain things you just can't do, unfortunately.
That's awesome.
My favorite hitting coaches, they always said, what do you do good? Let's make that your job. What he does good, let's make that his job. We can't all hit the same way. You can't all have people lined up. It's not skiing.
Right.
It's not skiing. It's not ski school where everybody lines up and they say, like, this is what you do, turn, pizza and all. It's not ski school.
Snowplow, here we go.
Yeah,
Pizza,
French fries. It's not ski school. It's baseball. And everybody is completely different. Everybody has different power. Everybody has different fast twitch. Like I said, Manny at third base, how he makes those throws. He does that in his sleep. Other guys work diligently just to even catch the ball. You don't do that. So it's just like some things come natural. Some guys have to work at it, but no one is the same. And all the best hitting coaches that I've ever had have fine-tuned, like, you're this, you're that, be that player. And that was what Tony Gwynn was best about. People try to say he worked on the same things with everybody. No, he privatized to cater to your certain skill set. Because I was like, Tony, I'm not trying to drive the ball in a 4.5 hole.
Right.
Or 3.5 the other way. I'm trying to drive that ball out. And he was like, okay, but you still want to drive that ball out on the line. I'm like, okay, well, let's change it a little bit because I had a little more different skill set.
That's awesome. Yeah, my buddy that played for him, Bogsy, who he said, he would get mad at us because he's like, look how easy this is. And he would just put it on the tee. And they're like, yeah, but you're Tony Gwynn. So it's easy for you.
Yeah.
But that's interesting to know that he would tailor it for different guys' swings. That's cool.
No one can do the same thing as the next person.
Right. Yeah, it's not an offensive line.
You can try, but you can't. Yeah. It's not skiing.
That's interesting.
So back to Seattle All-Star game. Who was the person you were most excited to meet? Obviously, you know most of the baseball or all of the baseball people, but there were other celebrities, people who were there. Who was like the coolest, most fun person that you met while you were at the All-Star game?
Donovan Mitchell and Zach LaVine. Okay. Pretty cool dudes. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're around other people, so they can obviously put their hair down. Cito Gaston. I ran into Cito Gaston, and I got to see Cito Gaston.
Clarence Cito Gaston.
He's an OG, and he was coaching with the HBCU team with Bo Porter, and I got to see him, talk to him for a few minutes. I like talking to the old school because they're not going to be here forever. And I remember talking to Don Newcomb a couple months before he passed. I'm like, I'm glad I was able to talk to Don. I'm glad I was able to get his autograph. And we gotta start celebrating our older generations a little bit better and a little bit more. So that was awesome to spend a couple minutes with him. Obviously, get to see Big Papi, see his kids. I haven't seen him in a couple years. So there's a lot of things, just a lot of people to bring in. But seeing Cito, talking to him for a little bit was really good.
Makes me think of the old Blue Jays teams. Yep. He was a manager of Padres, of course, in Toronto. this week, taking on the Blue Jays. So Cito Gaston, kind of close to mine. All right, we're gonna
I
take.
saw you real quick. I saw you at the home run derby in the background the whole time filming.
Sweet.
You're on Instagram Live or something. What was the most impressive part of the home run derby? And what's it like being down there with the new format too? It seems
nuts,
intense,
man.
The format is awesome. I don't think the fans on TV get the full effect because, like, you don't get to see how far the ball went because it's another pitch being thrown. That was always the cool part, seeing like, oh, this ball is launched.
Yeah, celebrating it.
Yeah, now it's just like pitch after pitch. But what Rushman did, bro,
Amazing.
21 from the left, 20 from the left side, and then just switches and with a brand new ball, 7 straight from the right side.
Did you ever do the derby as a player?
I did it in 14.
You did?
Yeah, and
How'd
how'd
it go?
I went up against the Spettis.
Oh my God.
And he won the previous year. He said, "Papi, you go." Oh man, I knew I was done.
How many did you get?
I think I got 6.
That's the most nerve-wracking
And he came
thing.
in,
that was like
and
that
you
was
don't want to know
That
the
was
number
not
he
the
came
time.
with.
That was the 10 out still, where you could take a pitch and it's like, okay, I'm not swinging at that
Bro,
one.
how nervous were you for that? I would have been sick to my stomach. Were you
Oh,
not?
no, it was awesome.
really?
Oh no,
dude.
I was swinging. I swung way too
Do
hard.
you feel like it screwed up your swing?
Yeah, did it mess you
second
up?
half of the
'Cause
season.
that's all you hear that theory
No.
all the time.
No, I didn't. No, because all you do is just go back to your swing. Like, yeah, you just go. I was telling myself, swing hard and try to hit the ball to center field, not hit the ball straight to left field. So I was trying to hit basically. If I'm telling myself to hit the center, I'm gonna hit it to left.
You're gonna
center.
hit it to left.
So would
center,
you say
yeah.
that's a myth that a lot of people have, or does it happen for some players? Because we always hear that, and we're like,
They say,
I'd
like-
love to see Fernando in the home run derby.
They
next
say,
year,
like-
but I don't want to screw up his swing.
They say like it messed up Judge. They say it messed up Soto. But then they also said on the broadcast this year that it can get guys going a little bit. Like it can get them going and get kind of locked in a groove.
Wasn't the one in 21? Didn't Soto get hot right after the All-Star break?
He won it last year.
No.
He did
was
get
in it.
hot after the All-Star break in 2021.
In 2021,
after
yeah.
the home run derby, he said that he was like it helped him lift the ball because he
Yeah.
hasn't
Yeah.
been lifting the
Yeah, I
ball
think
or
he
something
said
like that. Mookie, I don't know if Mookie was the right guy to do it this year because he's in-game pop.
Oh yeah.
His swing is just like he's in-game pop.
In-game pop.
Yeah, he needs the velocity.
Yeah.
And barrels everything up. But you can tell like those other guys were just stronger. But in-game pop, nobody's better than Mookie.
Man, I had such a
Oh,
fun time
nobody's better.
watching Vladdy and Arozarena. I mean, those guys are just so fun to watch.
Julio
dude.
Rodriguez hitting 40.
Yeah, he's insane.
Like, at home. Like, I know he didn't advance. I know he didn't win, but he hit 40. That place was going
Place went
nuts.
nuts. That's cool.
They need to change that too. It needs whoever, like the top guys, and then funnel it out. You can't hit 27 and lose and not be in it.
Right, it's fair enough.
That you can't do that.
Fair enough.
I had to look it up. I would have lost on the under. 282 career home runs for this guy.
Look at you.
That's pretty good.
You didn't know that?
Not
that.
specifically.
Who was your first? You remember?
Adam Eaton,
Adam Eaton. There you
Oppo,
go.
Texas, and they threw the ball back. Didn't have to negotiate.
No negotiation.
I also learned that his middle name is Lamarck. That's
Yeah.
cool too.
Mm-hmm. Little French.
Yeah,
Adam
I like
Lamarck.
that.
It's like they knew something.
Adam Lamarck Jones. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back. I want to talk more about this Padres team and where they kind of stand right now and get AJ's thoughts on the trade deadline coming up here. Now, very close. We are less than 2 weeks away.
Crazy, man. What a
from the
crazy
trade
time
deadline.
of year.
So that is coming up. Back with more Adam Jones live in studio after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Don't need the phone today. Don't need some janky connection to Greece or Germany or Spain or wherever he is. We've got Adam Jones in studio today. It is great to see him. And I got to ask you, so what do you think the Padres should do here at the trade deadline coming up? They're still
Will they be buyers?
7.5 games out in the
No.
wild card. They look like, we were talking about this yesterday. When they look good, like they did yesterday, they look like a World Series contender.
No doubt.
They absolutely look like they could beat anybody in October, but the odds of them getting there are pretty slim. I mean, the math says about 20%, and that's if they can actually be the Padres that we just saw. And I don't know that they've shown the consistency. So do you add pieces? Do you trade guys away who are about to be free agents? Do you do nothing? I mean, what would be your call here?
Oh, that's why I'm not a GM.
Same. That's I say it all the time.
That's a tough call. That's a real tough call, because if you don't make it and you don't trade nobody, you lose the free agents. You already have a high payroll, so you lose free agents. You trade people, it's like the Brewers last year. They traded Hader, and they crumbled. It told them that, like, we're not trying to win this year.
We're not serious people.
All-stars. Yeah.
You watch Succession? You talk about
seen it.
Yeah,
I
you're
like
not
that.
serious. You're not serious
people.
If you trade away guys right now.
But at the same time, like what Joe said, is they do have pieces that can fill in. But no, there's no filling in for Hader.
No, and there's no filling in for Blake Snell.
And not for Snell either. Right now, I mean, he's been dealing. It's a hard question, because it's like, if they reel off 10 straight, which would be, I mean,
it'd be a miracle.
Triangle.
Yeah.
That would put you in a unique situation. And that is right before the deadline. Like they're saying, like they got 2 weeks.
2 weeks, man.
10 games, I would say, to figure out something and to show, am I going with one of the ways? I'm going uphill or downhill?
I know you follow the Padres, but I want to see if you know this answer. What's their longest winning streak this year, do you think?
3.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it. Isn't that incredible?
It's incredible.
And it's with that talent, it's just, man, the game's hard. They have a bullseye on their back. People want to.
We're almost 100 games.
Yeah, they're like, oh, y'all spending all this money? Oh, we're gonna show y'all.
Yeah,
but like that's an anomaly, right?
Same with the Mets.
Like, that's an anomaly for this team in particular to only have won 3 games. Like, what's the A's? What's their
A's
longest?
had a 7-gamer.
And the Reds had a 12. And
that would be great if we did that right now. That'd be fantastic.
There's no time better than right now.
And it's not like, well, you've got one good pitcher and then, they get quality starts all the time. They're the kind of team that should put together long winning streaks. Like, oh yeah, Darvish, Musgrove, Snell, Lugo's been pitching great. All you have to do is score just a few runs and you should reel off 9 in a row like that. And they haven't been able to do it.
The time is now. Let's put out good juju out in the
we tried
atmosphere.
That. Yeah. We tried that. We had an energy healer. We had an energy healer on. That didn't work. We tried it all.
Miss Cleo.
It was almost. It was Mr. Harold or whatever the hell was Mr.
Herman.
Petrick.
We tried it.
It's Ben Petrick's like second cousin.
Yeah, that's right.
Apparently.
Yeah,
but I think the guys understand what is at stake. They obviously always do. And with roughly 10 games, I'd say, before the trade deadline, guys are there. That's a veteran clubhouse. They know how the game and how the business is. So with whatever Prowler does, I think everybody is prepared for it.
So can we play Musgrove's comments again?
Yeah,
we when you were just walking in.
People got mad. I saw people online upset about this quote, and I got to be honest with you. I took it.
I liked it.
I liked it too. I had no problem.
Got the question from AJ Cassaville as well. This is Joe Musgrove after the game last night.
Do you see a sense of importance on these games in the next 2 weeks before the deadline to kind of solidify yourselves as buyers, as in contention, or do these games kind of be the same as the rest of them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think many guys in here have thought a whole lot about whether we're buying or selling. I feel like whether we buy or sell, we're a really good team regardless. There's certain guys that are not going to sell. And, even if we do sell off, the guys that are available, the Blakes, the Haters that, are going to be available at the end of the year, we have a good team in here without those guys. Obviously we're not the same team without them, but we do have a good team. So I feel like that's not as much a concern. We're not really thinking about that. We're thinking about winning games one at a time and just putting as many as we can together in a row.
Like, I guess if you're trying to hear what you want to hear, you could maybe take that as oh, we don't need Snell. We
Correct.
don't need Hader. That's not at
That's
all
not what he's
he
saying.
said. It's a fact that they're going to be free agents after this season, right now, as of right now.
Yeah.
They do not have contracts.
And listen, I also think it's something that you say. They said it. We saw this last year when Tatis got suspended. And all the guys, it actually kind of brought the guys together. And it was like, we don't need them. We're good. Now, some of the guys that were the lippiest about it didn't really have good second halves. We're talking about Mike Clevenger. It was staked to a 4-run lead, couldn't get an out basically. And, it did end up blowing up in their face a little bit. But Joe and Manny and all the guys, the veterans, they came down and they said, hey, we're going to be fine. And I think it's something that you say. I don't know that people liked him name checking them, but we all know, and they know, and Josh Hader knows that he could be packing his bags in 2 weeks, and Blake Snell knows that he could be shipped off to somewhere too. They, like
Especially
you said,
if they don't start winning.
Yeah, they're veterans and they know the business. So I had no problem with it at all. It's just the reality of the situation right now, with this team. So we'll see what happens, man. We do have to take another quick break, or Adam will get mad at us. Not you, Adam, our boss.
Our other boss.
Different Adam.
That he's here. But we'll come back. We got another segment with Adam Jones in studio.
He hasn't asked you to make any promos.
Yeah, he hasn't asked you to do anything.
Do any production for the station.
Okay.
Right?
I want to talk about your podcast next as well. Can we talk about baseball fights too? Yeah. Can we? And chippy ball games? That's what I want to talk about the most.
That's coming up next. Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Hint Water, delicious fruit-infused water with zero sugar or diet sweeteners. Hint is a water with a touch of true fruit flavor. More than 25 delicious flavors in stores or at hintwater.com. I will not list all 25 flavors for you today.
It's pretty fun.
That was fun.
All right, here Adam Jones is back. We're going to check traffic, and then Woodsy wants to ask about base brawls with someone who's probably been in a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your 15-minute instant drive-thru oil change. Fire crews on scene of a car fire northbound side of the 805, right past the 163. All that activity over to the right shoulder. Still here with a couple of problems along westbound King Freeway. One is collision in the Massachusetts on-ramp. Another crash up ahead, College Avenue off-ramp. That is over to the right shoulder. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change Centers are open 7 days a week. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, before we get to base brawls, let's talk a little bit about the Adam Jones podcast. So Jerry Coleman obviously was a legend here in San Diego.
Yes.
You work with a different Jerry Coleman.
Yeah, also a legend.
Which is
Damn
also
sure.
a legend and also one of the great announcers of the game. Happens coincidentally to share a name with the Colonel, who I grew up listening to, and you probably did here as well in
100%,
San Diego.
yep.
Just kind of an irony, but a good guy, and you guys talk about all kinds of stuff.
The Adam Jones podcast. We out of Baltimore, obviously, the Baltimore Banner. We just give the insight into Baltimore sports, my thoughts of my era, this new era, beyond Baltimore. We talk about what's going on inside the world, outside the world, traveling. It's just a whole culmination of telling stories and trying to give a little bit of insight to people about what's going on with my life, my career, and, things going on around me and in Baltimore sports mainly. But I try to give them everybody a good glimpse into, my career, especially now. It's easier to tell the stories that all the people are retired.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the Adam Jones podcast, and that's all we try to do, man. Just try to tell some cool stories, very similar to what we do here. Just come here and just trying to give you guys a little insight, a different insight, talk some stuff, tell some jokes, and have some fun.
I just saw they put Cedric Mullins on the 10-day IL. It's got
Did
a little maybe an oblique or something, which is, anytime you hear oblique.
I think it was a quad.
Or maybe it was a quad.
Yeah, all right. I was hearing that they weren't going to put him on there, but
yeah, he just went on. I mean, what a player he is.
Oh.
They're an organization that I think if you're an Orioles fan, certainly you're having a ball this year watching them and watching them play. And they stuck with Brandon Hyde. You know Brandon very well.
Yeah, I know Hyde really well.
He seems to be the right guy, for that team, that young team. They stuck with him. The big question now is, all right, 2 weeks, you're more than in it. I mean, you're more than in it. Like, you are an absolute contender. What are you going to do, if you're the Orioles, and will you pony up? And they have, that's the thing they say about, and I don't know much about their prospects, but they do say for all the guys they brought up that are stars, they got a ton more that they could move right now if they wanted to go get somebody premier. What do they need? Pitching?
Everybody needs pitching. But it's a question of, do they need pitching? I mean, their pitching has answered every question this whole entire year. The back end of the bullpen, obviously, we know is just absolutely spectacular. But there's also moves that were thought, bringing in Snell. They have so many prospects. Like, if you watch their games and then watch their lineups, you see the same names. Look at where they're playing. They're playing all over the place. Like, I'm not saying they're showcasing anybody, because they're not, but they are.
Still know some of the guys in the AL East.
They got some talent, man.
Yeah.
They have talent. And Kerstad and Jackson Holiday, I met them at the Futures game, and those dudes is hungry. Oh, yeah. Jackson Holiday is a bulldog.
Crazy, man.
Doggo Argentino. If you ever seen one of them, that's Jackson Holiday.
Let me ask
He's
you,
coming in hot.
I mentioned it earlier. The Padres and the Orioles have the exact same run differential, plus 44 at this point. Orioles are 20 games above 500. Padres are 5 games under 500. Same run differential. What is it about the Orioles? What do they have that the Padres haven't had this season?
Okay. Now, someone would ask me this question too, is what the Orioles have this year that is very unique is their athleticism. I think is one of the top in all of baseball. And I compare them to the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, the Braves. Like, they're incredibly athletic. Are they the best hitters in the league? No. but they don't ground into double plays. Padres ground into double plays.
Yeah, lots.
We did it our heyday with the Orioles. Big boppers. We grounded to a lot of double plays. The Royals in that era didn't ground into double plays. Were they the best offensive team in baseball? No. But if you get 4 outs an inning and draw some walks, get hit by pitches, stretch that to 5, and you got guys that steal bases and cause havoc, that's the Orioles. The Orioles remind me of the Royals.
Yeah.
And the Padres remind us of ourselves because they got boppers. But when you ground into double plays, it just negates everything.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've hit a lot of double plays in big situations, and it's the worst.
It's the worst.
And there's times where I've been able to beat it out in big situations too to create an extra out. The Orioles do that, I think, better than any team in baseball. And as soon as they get on the bases, they're all gone. Everybody is running within the first 3 pitches. So there's a track meet over there, but their athleticism is just, I think, it's top in baseball.
Okay, though that makes sense. That's why the Orioles have a 16-9 record in one-run games, while the Padres have a 5-16 record in one-run games this season.
Bunting, getting the guy over, like those things. And you
said it too.
You got to do the small things now.
The back end of the bullpen. I mean, that is really, early in the season, it was hitting with runners in scoring position, and that, we all know the stories about that. We lost every single extra inning game. There's nobody. The other day when they lost in 12, they did not get a hit in the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th inning. They didn't get a hit. They had a sac fly or something to get somebody in, and that was that. But the bullpen has just crushed this team this season, and it's really exposed a lack of depth and a lack of depth in the farm too. And you look at the Rays, who have lost guys and guys to injury all the time. Doesn't matter. It's a factory. They bring up another guy that throws a 96-mile-an-hour slider and a 102-mile-an-hour fastball, and they just throw him in. And if he gets hurt, guess what? I got another one. Yep. It's a factory, and that's just something that we don't have. We've traded a lot of those guys away. So this is kind of the bed that AJ Preller's made here, and we're trying to figure out a way to lie in it, but also win some games and get back in the hunt. And it's just hard. On a day-to-day basis, I went to bed last night feeling so good about what I saw, and I've done that 40-something times this year. The wins have been spectacular, and you just club somebody, and then the next day they just rip your heart out. 7th inning, give up a run, a walk, an error, and they really have not been able to tighten up, man, in the last few innings, and games just get away.
You have to be able to get the ball to the all-star closer.
That's it.
And it's hard to those middle outs are hard.
So hard. They've been really hard.
And again, with analytics telling you that the pitcher can't go past the 3rd time, that's the 6th inning. You got to go to your middle relief. Like what? If Musgrove is dealing,
he left him in a little bit longer than usual last night.
Yeah, still threw, I think, a season high 109.
Good.
Yeah, but still just 6 innings though.
Hey, I'll take it. But he needs to, every start he needs to be 100 at least 100. Snell at least 100. Darvish, I mean, it depends on how he feels that day. He probably throws 100 sliders in the game.
111, 112.
They're built. These guys are built for it. They're making this. They make it seem like these guys are little guys. These are tanks. They're built to throw. Let them throw.
Problem is,
they're better than the middle relief guys.
Problem is they've got guys that they were really, really counting on to have good seasons, and when they don't have good seasons, you've got to keep running them out there because this as a hitter. If you're in a slump, how do you get out of a slump? You got to hit. You got to play. And we got too many of those guys on the hitting side, and we have too many of those guys in the bullpen. You can't get them going unless you put them in some situations that may end up costing you a game. And it's happened. It's just happened way too much this year.
All right, Woods. We're talking to Adam Jones in studio. You wanted to ask him about some base brawls.
Well, I was thinking about it last night as I'm watching the Blue Jays. They are chirpy. I mean, they are as chirpy and chippy as it gets. You saw their pitching coach get run in the 2nd inning. Manoah is getting crushed still, and he's still chirpy and chippy. And part of me that likes it, when you played, like, you obviously knew there were times you were going to wear one. Like, you knew that I know I'm going to wear one this game because of something I did or because somebody else did. Was it always something somebody else did?
Always something somebody else did. I never got hit for something I did.
Would you say something to that person?
Not really.
No, because you knew.
No. I was fortunate enough that I came up in the different era right before the rule changes of taking guys out of second base.
Right.
So I get hit, and I would just take my stuff off, and I tell the catcher, I'm about to your second baseman up or your shortstop.
Oh, really?
Subtly just told him that, and I just jogged to first base.
You look back and go, he's
subtly as I'm taking it off, and then Wieters sometimes obliged by rolling over on a two-seamer or a changeup. Oh, I would flip this shortstop, second baseman. You know who probably hates me to this day?
Who?
Yunel Escobar. Oh, he came down. I got him so much when he was in Tampa and in Toronto. He came down like side on me. He like almost got me too.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I almost got in a fight with him right at second base. So I'm like, dude, you can't come at my face like that. I'm clean.
Yeah.
I'm just big.
Yeah.
So, and I'm down there. I'm mad. So I'm definitely gonna be extra aggressive. And he came down side like, Bobby, you can't come that low. And he's like, you can't slide like that. He threw the ball away, and then we ended up scoring. We ended up scoring later in that inning because of that error. You need those plays back, but dude, you need some more. You need some more chirping. I was talking to Bo Bichette at the All-Star game. I was like, "What's up, dog? I like Bo."
Yeah, I do too.
And he was like, "Man, kind of pissed that they ain't asked me for the home run derby." He's like, "I ain't a little guy. I'm strong. I got some bombs, man. I'm kind of pissed they ain't asked me for the home run derby." I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that, and he knows that team got some dogs on it too, and they want to fight. Manoah wants to fight.
We don't. That's one thing I've been missing. I think about this team, full of guys I love and guys that play really, really hard. But I think the biggest dog on this team, they just DFA'd yesterday, and Rugi Odor. That dude's terrifying, man. He scares me.
Well, I mean,
death.
speaking of incidents at second base and the Blue Jays, one of the most famous, because a lot of baseball fights are not
pushing and
they're
shoving.
not fights.
Right.
The guys aren't
It's
real.
but
that
it's
was
still fun, man.
That
it's still
punch
fun.
was a real punch that really landed on Jose Bautista
hard.
Like hard, yeah.
And then he hit him with his glove. That's the part no one paid attention. Just look at the first blow, the second where he smacked him on the head with his glove.
You ever charged the mound?
No.
Never?
No. I never was mad enough to like, you hit me in the back or something. Boom.
Yeah.
Thank you for the base. I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna walk. So thank you for the OBP.
We've talked about Mad Bum before, and you got great Mad Bum stories. And, I mean, that dude's psychotic. And when you got an 8 ERA and you're chirping, that's tough. Like, it's tough to watch. When you were coming up, like, who were the pitchers that you went up against and you're like, this guy's gonna be flapping his gums all day, always talking like
Dontrell Willis, but in a good way.
In a good way,
In
like
a good
fun
way.
way.
Yo,
Like
Dontrell's
Jose
the best.
Fernandez. Like, I
Yeah.
loved watching him pitch because he was chirpy
in a
as
good
it
way.
got. But he was
Stroman chirped in a good way though.
In a
He's
good
like,
way.
okay, I got you.
Who were the bad chatter guys? Do you remember any of the bad chatter guys?
I see Manny chirping a lot, but it seems like
but it's
good
always
chirping.
good. It's like good chirping.
No, I never.
You didn't have the bad chatter?
Nah, none of the guys like
Soto
that.
and Real Muto were literally going back and forth all weekend in Philly. It would be a Soto didn't think it was a strike, and he turned, and JT would turn around, and they were chirping. But Juan's always smiling. Like, you can't get mad at Juan. That's the thing, too, is like, I've never seen Juan Soto mad, ever. I've never seen him get mad. He's always smiling and having fun. It does rub people the wrong way. Not me, but it does. People are like, I want to see a little more fight out of these guys.
I mean, what fight? What do you want to see him? You want to see him throw stuff? Like,
See,
what
I
do you-
did
like,
for a minute.
I mean,
I did
yeah,
say I
that's
wanted
never,
to see some more eyewash.
That's complete eyewash.
I wanted to
It's
see
not
it.
going to do nothing. The little kids, and you got the mom saying, stop, and send you letters. Can you please stop slamming your bat at him? You look crazy slamming your bat. My son's watching. Shut up. Okay, I'm mad. Okay? But, you have to show fire, obviously. But, there's some dudes that want to fight in baseball.
Yeah.
That want to. Manoah's one of them. He wants to.
He
Cole
really
doesn't.
Garrett Cole?
Nah, he don't want to fight.
No.
Why? Why do you want to fight?
Yeah.
But some dudes want to fight. And
Get out there angry.
Yeah, angry people like Chris Farley.
Joe's probably
like
the biggest
angry.
dog on our team now, right?
Joe want to fight too.
Joe does.
Oh, Joe want to fight when he's happy.
Who was the outfielder? Nigel Morgan.
Want to fight
all the time.
All the time. He's a hockey player. He's a
There
hockey
was
mentality.
a play with you and him. Did you rob him or he robbed you? What?
No, he tried to rob me of a home run and he slammed his glove down.
That's right.
And it was my inside the Parker.
Inside the park home run.
Yeah.
That's right. I just
I
saw
was like,
that.
thank you,
highlight.
brother.
I saw that
Oh,
highlight
running
a
my
couple
ass
weeks
off.
ago. That is that dude always wanted to fight.
Blinking. Dude, he charged Chris Volstad. Chris Volstad, Nigel Morgan's 5'9", 5'10", 165, soaking wet. Volstad is 6'7", 6'8". He ran to him, jumped, and tried to punch him. Oh, yeah.
I remember that dude. He was crazy.
Who was a couple of years ago? Was it a Reds guy went to the other dugout?
Oh,
just by
Amir Garrett.
himself?
Amir Garrett. He wants to fight.
Oh, right now.
Right
now.
Single day.
It's a picture of him
he's
and
probably
like
feeding his son.
30 Pittsburgh Pirates swarming him.
Yeah.
And he wants them all.
He want to fight right now.
That's so good.
Some dudes
man.
want that.
That's so
But
good.
Amir Garrett's 6'6", basketball background.
Yeah.
Mainly. So he been through the trenches. He want to fight.
I feel like some of the guys you played with back in the day.
Christian says in the chat, Carlos Quentin.
Carlos Quentin would fight. Yeah, 100%.
He was
I feel like some of the guys you played with back in the day, and I know you and Nick Markakis is very tight. That's your dude. He always scared me. Like he had that intensity about him where he always looked like he would throw down on you.
No. He would. I mean, he would.
He
like,
just looked intense.
Dahmer you.
Yeah.
He's like, I got you. I'm soft. I'm not gonna do nothing. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna put sugar in your tank.
Scared you to death.
Your wheel locks, all those gonna be loose.
Got the brakes on your car.
He's like, I'm not gonna show you what I'm gonna do. CD is ready to go. CD was ready to go.
Chris Davis?
All the time.
Really?
Oh, he's ready. That's my bass brother. He's ready to go.
Now, were you with him? You weren't with him during the streak,
Yeah.
were you?
I was there when we started 0 for 54.
Yeah,
dude.
I was there. I was right there. And I was like, hey, nothing I can help you with. You got to keep swinging, baby.
That's one of the toughest stretches I've
and
ever
you
watched.
can't, and you cannot bunt.
No.
After a certain number, you cannot.
It's more
bunt.
embarrassing to get a hit that way.
No, you just can't bunt.
You just can't.
Yeah, you just can't do it. You got to swing.
I felt for that guy so bad, dude.
Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, don't feel bad for him.
All right, every 2 weeks he's still
he's
getting paid.
52. Okay, he's 37 right now. Don't feel bad for him.
Still getting paid. Well, it seemed like a really nice dude.
Dude
man.
was great, intense, played the game hard, played it the right way. Went through some struggles.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and it just compounded. But dude, one of my dudes right there.
That's
man.
cool.
That's one of my brothers.
That's
right
cool. That's cool. I mean, boy, when he would hit one, man, it would go a long way.
Let's just say I'm glad that radio hosts aren't asked to throw down because I would be
I'm not actually
the worst. You'd be fine.
So fun.
Paulie, he could hold, his own.
own.
I'd be the worst. I'm not a fighter.
Push somebody. Trip.
I'm a lover.
Okay.
Just kick him in the knee.
The worst part is Ben would not have our back.
That's the worst part.
That's
in a
by
fight.
far the worst.
He would run
Me and
for
Woods
the-
would start something or get involved in something.
I
And
don't
Ben
start
would just
nothing
be
because I don't want to finish anything either. So I just I keep it friendly all the
He
time.
does. He's very, very friendly guy. Except on the golf course that you will see.
yeah.
Just wait till he starts.
He's an
chirping?
Assassin, just a silent assassin.
All right.
Like, oh, you don't want to hit it over there, idiot. Like he's not.
And
like
then I
that.
hit it over
Yeah.
there?
And then you hit it over there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he's that guy.
You'll chunk one and be like, I don't think that's what you were trying to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. the subtle jab at
Oh,
you.
man.
Yeah, it's great. That was awesome, man. So you got to split now. You're gonna go to breakfast.
I'm gonna go to breakfast. Yeah, my wife went to go work out. I'm gonna go get these kids.
All right.
Get some breakfast,
And
and
we'll see you at
see you in a
the
couple
see you at the
hours.
course.
Yeah.
Appreciate
See
you
you at
very
the course.
much, man.
Always.
That was,
And then
that was a
were you
blast.
back in Spain next week when we call you on Wednesday?
No, I'll be in Baltimore.
Oh, back on the East Coast again.
Yeah, I'll be in Baltimore.
The world tour continues
Yes,
for
it
Adam
does.
Jones in studio doing a great job. Love to see you, man.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
Hopefully, we
Appreciate
see
it.
you back here in October. You were here
Hey,
for like the whole run last
if,
year.
if it plays out, you will see me here. There's a flight out of Munich that comes to San Diego.
From
Lufthansa.
Oktoberfest. Are you gonna go
Oh,
to
you damn right I'm
Oktoberfest
going to
again?
Oktoberfest.
I thought once would be enough.
No, that's a yearly thing, bro.
When are you running with the bulls? You can't with your hips.
I can't run with the bulls. Hey, I'm about to get bulldozed.
You can watch the bulls run. Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it as
you.
usual. That was awesome.
All right, we'll come back. Paulie's got some headlines. We finally got some definition of what's going to happen to San Diego State and their conference situation yesterday. That and more coming up. Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. If you missed it, last hour was fantastic. Adam Jones was in studio, but
I enjoyed it too.
We have the birthday boy in studio. Someone just brought him a helium-filled balloon, and
thank you guys all for your support and love today. I really feel it. It's a great day to be alive here in San Diego, California. I feel like I'm going to pass out now.
well, careful. Helium can be a dangerous and lethal gas.
I'm sitting here wondering why we haven't done helium bits before.
Yeah.
Paulie, I'm going to need a tank of helium, also nitrous, in here sooner than later. Please, we can just go to it when things get stale.
Can I just go straight to chloroform and just take a nap?
Come here, Ben. Oh, God.
Well, Ben's out for the rest of the show.
I do feel a little lightheaded right now, to be honest. I haven't hit a balloon in a while.
At first, I thought you were just making up. I'm like, oh, no, you're actually doing
I'm
this.
actually doing it. They just brought me this happy birthday balloon, and I've
now been destroyed
it and deflated. There you go.
You're such a
child. I'm a child.
You're such a 12-year-old, 48-year-old.
I really am. I really am a kid at heart.
Oh, so, yeah, I mean, Padres, they hit a lot of home runs. They win the game. Looks really good. It's funny. We don't have as much to talk about when they play well. We complain when they don't play well, and we keep wishing, man, this job would be so much easier if they just do what we thought they would do and play good baseball. And they finally do it for a day. And now I kind of sit here and I'm going, well, what can you really say?
You can say, do it again.
That's all you can say.
And then do it again, and then again, and then again,
and
again,
unfortunately,
and again.
Even that might not be enough at this point. I mean,
do you think it's too far gone?
I mean, there certainly is a winning streak that could get them back into it, but is there a realistic streak that can get the Padres back into it? Can they play that well enough times over the next couple of weeks, first of all, to stave off any trade deadline sell-off, and then continue basically through the month of August, so you're at the point when you get to September that you're within, 2 or 3 games, you're within striking distance, because you have to make up about 5 games over the next month just to get within striking distance to have a good September and then be able to make your way into a wild card position. And that's not easy to do, to make up 5 games on a team in a month, because some of those teams will play well that are ahead of you in the month of August. They're not all going to collapse. So you need to play really, really well over the next 6 weeks to just get in position to where you can say, okay, now we're in a race. Now we're within striking distance. We're a good series or 2 away from maybe being in a playoff position. That's how far out that they've gotten themselves at this point.
Yeah, it's a big hole. There's no question. It's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. But again, had this team ripped off 7, 8, 9 in a row early in the season, you'd say, okay, well, yeah, it's in them. The 3 games max is just a tough pill to swallow. It really is a tough pill to swallow for me. And it's hard to believe. It really is hard to believe. And all the experts and all of the people that study the metrics and expected numbers and projections and everything else, this team has really, really spat in their face, honestly. And we've heard from Saris many weeks. He says, guys, the conventional wisdom and the numbers tell me there has been a lot of bad luck involved. But at some point, man, you gotta overcome some of that and just find a way to win these ball games. And if you want to look at small victories, very tiny small victories, you look at what you saw last night from Alec Jacob, and you look at what you saw from Tom Cosgrove getting in a little bit of a trouble and not giving up a run. Yeah, you look at that and say, okay, can we build on it? The thing that drives me nuts about this team is there just hasn't been any building on any success, right? It's been flipping a coin night after night. And I know Bob Melvin feels that way when he calls down to the bullpen. Flip a coin. You want this guy or that guy? Who's going to be the guy tonight that forces my hand to do something maybe out of character and something I wouldn't normally do? But they've just got to get over some of these trends right now.
We'll talk more about that coming up here at the end of the hour. Right now, though, let's see what else is going on and get some headlines with Paulie.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah?
All right.
All right.
All right.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
All right. Let's start off. Let's pay off the tease, Ben. San Diego State, we do have an update. We've kind of been following this story now for a month and a half of San Diego State. Are they in the Mountain West? Are they not in the Mountain West? What is happening? And Ross Dellinger from Yahoo Sports, he said yesterday, reported that the Mountain West has informed San Diego State that the school will remain a member. Sources tell Yahoo Sports the school will be responsible for covering fees that the conference expensed over legal work during a letter exchange with SDSU about its possible withdrawal. San Diego State originally sent the Mountain West a letter announcing its intention to withdraw. The Mountain West Conference took it as a formal withdrawal and withheld their distribution. After Pac-12 failed to finalize a new TV deal by SDSU's June 30th deadline, SDSU requested remain a Mountain West Conference member. So it's kind of a weird exchange of money from what I can see. Like San Diego State will get their like $6.5 million from the conference, but then San Diego State has to send some of that back and cover the legal fees that the conference.
That letter, man. That letter is going to be the death of them.
So ultimately, what it basically means is San Diego State is now locked into the Mountain West, likely for 2 more seasons. Because if they wanted to get out now after the upcoming 2023-2024 season, it will cost them $34 million. That's a giant price tag. If they announce it, next June, and then they say we're leaving in 2025, they can do it for $17 million. And I fully expect that is what will happen once the Pac-12 gets their media rights deal done. There was reports yesterday that they're very close. Won't be announced this weekend at Pac-12 Media Day in Las Vegas, but they're close. So there's a chance that San Diego State almost played this out long enough. They could get the invitation in 2 weeks and say, yep, we are ready to join you in 23 months when we can now do it. But we are now locked in, unfortunately, to the Mountain West for another year. I'm just going to say, San Diego State badly misplayed this.
Oh, yeah.
The idea was, hey, let's see if we can get out of the Mountain West, but maybe negotiate a little bit better of a deal for ourselves. And what they ended up was negotiating a worse deal for themselves. Not only are they fully on the hook for every dollar of their exit fee when they do leave, they also have to pay these legal fees to the Mountain West. Now, I saw
this is a Woods negotiation.
I saw it was
if I've ever heard one.
It's under $100,000. So what, like let's say $85,000. Essentially, someone at SDSU, President De La Torre or whoever told her to send that letter, made like an $85,000 mistake.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what would happen if one of us made an $85,000 mistake at our job?
Yeah. I'd be scooping ice cream at Thrifty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much everybody listening, I would think, if you made an $85,000 mistake at your place of employment, you would no longer be employed there. It just, for right now at SDSU, it's just what? Swept it under the rug. Oh, whoops. All right. Well, we'll pay those legal fees and send you a big check.
It really was a terrible strategy.
Terrible.
It was a terrible
terrible.
strategy.
It was awful. It was awful.
And now they're going to be in the Mountain West for another 2
They're right
seasons.
back where they started, out some legal fees, and in no better position, and with no invitation to the Pac-12, and now stuck in the Mountain West for another year.
Fantastic.
And everyone's kind of mad at him about it, too. Bad PR all the way around, totally misplayed and botched by San Diego State.
All right, I think this could be actually maybe a don't do this story. I haven't discussed this yet, but Awful Announcing released their annual rankings of Major League Baseball television broadcasters. Don and Mud, they're not the defending champs, are they?
They won last year.
They did win it last year, or they
did
win
win last year. No, last year, they were kind of the surprise winner. They'd always been kind of top 5.
They do pretty well.
Last year, they jumped up to the number 1 spot. I had no problem with it whatsoever.
Of course. So I don't have to get into how their ranking system works, but we'll start with the top 5 here. I also actually start with number 30. Number 30 is the Tigers. Number 29 was the A's. And I was just like, that just sucks for those fan bases.
Yeah, just terrible.
I mean, the Tigers aren't doing much worse than the Padres are this year, but still, like, they haven't done anything in however long. Like, you're a Tigers fan or an A's fan, especially. You don't even get a good broadcast.
Woods is going to hate number 5.
You got nothing. All right, starting at number 5 with a score of 3.05. However, that was determined. Joe Davis and Steven Nelson from the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Buddy, and I've said this before, and it's not because he's a Dodger. It's not. It has nothing to do with it. It's not because I saw him in the press box bathroom preening and looking at himself in the mirror with duck face. It's not. He's boring as all get out. Joe Davis is a boring announcer. There's nothing about him. If I was creating an AI announcer, he'd sound like Joe Davis. That's what he sounds like to me. I listen to him. We hear him a ton. He's an all-star game. He's boring. There's nothing.
He's the voice on the video game.
He's robotic.
He's the guy.
He is the guy. He has been anointed as the chosen one.
He's like 35 years old. He's going to be the guy for
and I don't get
time.
it. And I just don't get it. And I swear on my kids, if he was the Oriole, I'd be like, that guy Joe Davis is boring as hell. He's boring. He's just boring.
Both Don and Jesse are better play-by-play
100%.
guys, I would say.
100%.
And Don does the national stuff. He doesn't do quite as much as Joe Davis. But
if you're going to anoint anybody as the chosen one, if it was Don Orsillo,
why the hell
I'd
is
say,
he not calling all-star games?
I'd say 100%.
Playoff games,
It is
World Series games.
it's so hard to find somebody better than that guy. And I promise you, it's not the Dodgers. It's not the preening in the mirror. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, though.
Ranked just ahead of the Dodgers at number 4 with a 3.07. We talked about him earlier. The Toronto Blue Jays, Dan Shulman.
Fantastic.
No
He's
problem
great.
with that.
Shulman's amazing.
Coming up at number 3 with a 3.24 grade, Don and Mud.
Don and Mud, top 3.
Nothing wrong with top 3.
Now, their actual rating went up from last year.
Yeah.
They were number 1, but they actually had a higher approval rating this year. It's just that a couple of other teams took an even bigger leap from last year.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I mean, that's top 3 is a nice place.
Approval
to be.
ratings going up. Top 3 is good.
Their comments on Awful Announcing says, despite their best score ever, the Padres fell from the top spot due to gains below them in the rankings. The pairing of Don Orsillo and Mud Grant is one of my favorites across the league, and they'll likely keep scoring high as long as they're together.
Yep.
I would agree. Number 2, the New York Mets.
You know, there's something.
Gary Cohen.
Cohen's
Ron Darling,
good.
They're definitely one of the better ones.
I like Cohen. Darling drives me nuts. And Keith Hernandez is a lunatic. Like he's just which is
adds a little bit to it.
It adds some flavor.
Kind of the what's he gonna say?
I think Met fans really enjoy it, and I think I can see why. I think it's not if I lived in New York and I was a Met fan, I think I'd be all in on those guys. I do. Darling is not. I don't think Darling's that great, but I think Keith. I think Gary Cohen's awesome.
I always feel like Darling sounds like actor James Woods.
Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah, he's got some
the
of that
same voice.
And then number 1, they always rank very, very high as well.
I'll say it. Necessarily good.
San Francisco Giants, Dave Fleming and Dwayne Kuiper. Now, how long has Fleming been doing TV? Like, when did
they've been together a long?
It was Kuiper and Kruko, wasn't
it?
Yeah,
retired. Right? He's an analyst now.
Is he?
How did they shuffle around their broadcast?
Well, John Miller, and
John Miller's awesome.
And I think they
John Miller does radio.
They shuffled though throughout TV. Kind of they go back and forth a little bit. But Fleming's great. I like Dave a lot. You may think he's a little boring. I think he's the most Ben Higginsy of the baseball broadcasters out there.
You are.
He's kind of sly. He's got a little bit of a sly
like
humor.
Mm-hmm.
He's a straight man with a bit of a sly sense of humor.
You're better than Joe Davis.
Thank you.
Period. Like, I would rather listen to you call games.
I do like Dave Fleming, and they love those Giants guys the way the Padres fans love.
Oh yeah,
Don and Mud. It's a very similar relationship with their TV announcers that they have in San Francisco that they have here. That's very much a parallel.
I still don't know if they like rotate, because it says in the comments this year, Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Kruko did it again, but this is play-by-play is Dave Fleming and Dwayne Kuiper, and then the analysts are Mike Kruko, Sean Estes, Javier Lopez, and Hunter Pence. So I don't know if they're kind of switching things up or.
Pence is a bit of a.
They
rough
included
listen.
Tony Gwynn Jr. and Sweeney on the analyst for the Padres as well. So you could just do a few games. They put you in on the list.
But it is their fourth crown in 6 polls.
Man.
For the Giants.
Yeah, Hunter Pence.
announcement.
I heard him on one of the Apple broadcasts. It was a rough listen. That was a tough one.
And then
I don't think he does a ton of games.
Finally, let's push my last thing.
Okay.
This was something that I saw over the weekend.
Stealing it.
And Woods wants to steal it.
Yeah, it's
Woods
stolen.
really wants to do this.
Consider it stolen.
So we got some audio, and we'll tell you what that was here after the break.
All right, that is coming up. Don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods on the way. This hour of Ben and Woods is brought to you by the Golf Mart. All right, let's go on San Diego's #1 sports station. Traffic next on 97.3 The Fan.
That's true.
Learn in the first 48 years not to steal.
What did I steal?
Paulie said that you want to steal a bit.
Oh yeah. No, I like to call these homages. Let's do an homage to we've done many homages over the years.
This is fun. So, okay, over the weekend, Howard Stern, we talk about him all the time. He's
the GOAT.
He's our guy. He's our inspiration. He's the greatest to ever do radio.
100%.
And
Not
he
close.
is on Sirius XM. He's got his own channel. The way his channel works is
He's got two.
He's got two channels. His main channel, Howard 100. He goes live 3 days a week now, I think.
3 days a week, every other
3 weeks
month.
a year.
Yeah, like he's barely on.
Can I offer my respect for what he's accomplished and just say that personally, I'm always uncomfortable when I listen to it.
Even now, these days, he's changed a lot.
He's changed a lot.
But I used to be a little too uncomfortable to enjoy his.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he
His
pushed the
thing
envelope.
on radio.
Push the
Yeah.
envelope. I mean,
It wasn't for me.
No, it's not. It's not me. You don't have to say it. Everyone knows it.
Okay. I just when you're saying we love him, and I just wanted to let everyone to know that that's not really including me.
Okay. Moral superiority.
I'm not
Ben
saying
is
moral
checked in.
superiority. I like to be accurate. I like to paint an accurate picture of who we are as a show.
I'm not going to make you do any of this. Is nothing. You're not
No
going to have to do.
stunts.
You're not going to have to do anything.
Okay,
In
thank
fact,
you.
for this bit, you may not even want to come.
What's his name? Gary. I don't want to be Gary or any of the guys.
You
that he
are
has.
kind of a little bit. Gary.
Don't want
a
to be
little
Gary.
bit.
No,
A
thank you.
little
I'll
bit. But
pass.
you did wear a
I'll
gill
pass.
mask and eat fettuccine through the hole.
Yeah,
So
it's true. So when Stern, he does a show for 3 to 4 hours or whatever, and then when he signs off, they just replay his show
Sure.
or old shows or whatever. Now he's on summer break. Their show, when you get to that level, you can take 2.5 months off if you want for summer vacation. So they've just been playing old shows, old interviews, bunch of classics. And over the weekend, this was on Saturday night, Howard went live at like 9 p.m. on the East Coast. He was in upstate New York where he lives, and he was having a huge party. I mean, the people that were at his house: Jimmy Fallon, Drew Barrymore, Robert Downey Jr.,
A-list.
Brooke Shields, John Bon Jovi, and more. And he was having this party, and they decided to go upstairs and just start listening to a bunch of records. And they'd go around the circle and like, all right, you got the next one. They pick a song and they play it and they talk about it. And Howard goes, "This is
Like Celebrity Daily Diddy.
Yeah, pretty much.
just a couple of hours of that." And Howard goes, "We should do this live," because he does his show. He doesn't go into the studio anymore. He has a home studio in upstate New York or wherever he lives, and he does the show from there. So he hacked into his own studio, his own station, went live, and like I think his wife tweeted out maybe a few minutes before, like, "Guess what? Howard's going live." But if you missed that, if you were just driving around on Saturday night listening to, him interviewing Harry Styles or something, it just cut out, and all of a sudden you hear like, hello. Like,
Are we live?
It's Howard, and everyone's like, "Is this a prank?" Here's how the broadcast started.
Howard, you're on. All right. Hey, everybody. This is, oh, whoa. What's that music? Hey, I'm trying something new for people who are listening now. I'm breaking into my own channel. I'm on what?
Talk about your summer.
Well, yeah, okay, but I'm explaining to people what's happening, honey.
His wife telling him what to do
People
immediately.
hearing me live.
Hi, everybody.
I'm here with Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon and my wife, Beth.
And dare I say, this is a Howard Stern takeover of Howard Stern Radio.
That's right. And what I did was I obviously can't get along without an audience all summer. I thought it'd be fun. I was sitting and playing music, and I thought we would play music. I would go back to my roots of being a DJ. And who's going to, Drew, are you going to start this off? But I have a bunch of people over. Jimmy Fallon wants to say something. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. This is honestly unprecedented.
Like, people are listening. They're going, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
Just
not being
live.
serious. You're talking about doing this. I go, "Oh, I think it's a great idea." And you're like, "We're doing it now. We actually are doing it now. It's actually going out."
This is on the air live. All right. Now, Drew Barrymore just picked ELO's Don't Bring Me Down. I think was an excellent choice.
Thank you.
Jimmy is ready with his song. And I also want to introduce Robert Downey Jr. He's an up-and-coming actor. He wants to-
Up-and-coming actor.
Are you? Do you want to follow ELO? You do. Here, get on that mic.
I will follow. You're going to follow? Wow.
Robert Downey Jr. You will tell everybody what you do in case they don't know who you are. Ladies and gentlemen.
So, I mean, he did that he went live for couple hours,
and they just played music.
And they just hung out. And I mean, he's got his own studio. He's got all his records there. And they were all just sitting there off air, obviously, just hanging out. And he goes, let's just go live.
I want to do that here sometime, like on a weekend. Just say, Adam, I'm going to the station. We're going to go to the station. We're going to
pushing the button.
We're
interrupting regularly scheduled programming,
which is, unless it's a sponsored show or something, like if it's just
not at that time of night.
We flip to CBS Sports Radio and you're hearing about, what the Jags offensive line is going to look like. I think
just on a weekend, it would have to be just as long as there's no Padres game.
Right.
No Padres East Coast or early game.
Be fun, man. To just come in and shoot the breeze. And we could have like people in with us and just get wild and play. What if we played music? Like that'd be a blast. Like everyone picks some songs and records and talk about them. I think it'd be incredible.
We could do that from 6 to 10 one day.
I'm in on that. If he would let us.
I mean, not probably during Padres season, but
when the season's
in the off season at some point, do something different. Have some guests in.
Now you're talking.
Play some music.
Now
I'm down for like once a month.
Let's get any A-listers we know.
Get some homestay tacos back in.
Yes.
Turn it into a party. What I liked about that, it was obviously very unplanned, very loose. Those guys when they're on, Drew Barrymore, Robert Downey Jr., Jimmy Fallon, they're as talented and professional as anyone. But that was very loose. There was nothing scripted. It was all very candid. Didn't necessarily sound great. I mean, it wasn't
right.
It wasn't like, oh wow, this is dynamic.
I'm
radio.
Interviewing,
but it was
Robert
authentic.
Downey.
It was authentic, and that's what made that cool. That audio was very cool.
Adam's in the YouTube chat. He's watching. He said, "Done, done."
Yes, you've just made my birthday. You have just made my birthday. Yeah, we'll figure it out. When a good time to do would be it, and maybe we can give away slots and things like that. I mean, he already lets us take over the station and do an entire show about Christmas at the end of the year, which is always a blast. And we've already got some stuff up our sleeve for that. But the Ben and Woods musical takeover would be a lot of fun on a weekend or anytime. And have some notable musicians or shoot, man, how fun would it be to have a Padre come in and do that with us after the season at some point? Come in and pick some records and talk and just use this platform at our disposal sometimes. Basically, what I'm asking Adam for is the key. I want the keys. Give me the keys, and we'll see what happens. And I think it'd be fun. I mean, what do we get? You can get your, you can find out your offensive line talk anywhere.
Plus, luckily, we're an FM signal because if you tried to do this on an AM station and play the songs, they wouldn't sound very good.
No, yeah, it wouldn't sound good. This would sound fantastic. So that'd be awesome. All right, good. I love that, Paulie. So thank you for that.
We got one segment left.
Ben will not have to ride the Sibian, someone asks in the chat. So that's not going to happen.
Is that something Howard did?
Oh, yeah. Don't look it up on the work computer either.
All right, we'll come back. I will make the case as to why this time may be different for the Padres.
Oh, no.
Maybe this time will be different. Fool me once.
Take some calls, too.
And we're joined by Jen Sturger.
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot about that.
She's coming on as well.
Yes, we got Jen Sturger. I totally forgot. My bad. I totally forgot about Jen, and I love when she comes on. She's great. Loose Radio this morning with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Final segment of Bennett Woods on a Wednesday. It's been a fun show. We had Adam Jones in studio earlier, and joining us right now on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline is one of our favorites. She's going to be in town this weekend. She's got 3 shows coming up at the Laugh Factory. We are talking about Jen Sturger's back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Jen, always great to talk to you. Good morning.
Always good to talk to you guys. I just heard neither of you have been to Comic-Con yet. Is this true?
No, I've been. It was a long time ago.
What had happened was.
Yeah, what had happened was.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I've never actually had a ticket to go.
I have once,
but you can't be in San Diego and not really be at Comic-Con because I've been downtown and seen, there's all kinds of installations, and Petco Park is Comic-Con now. You walk through Petco Park, it's part of the whole show. So I have certainly experienced Comic-Con, but I've never actually had Hall H passes and gone to the panels and stuff like that.
Me neither.
I've been
And
once. It's
listen,
wild.
this year, it's going to look a little bit different this year, obviously, with the strikes going on. So, a lot of the bigger studios aren't going to be there, obviously, because there's no big name talent that's able to promote because we're all striking, AKA we need the work. That's why I'm doing shows this weekend. But it's going to be interesting because I feel like it's going to bring Comic-Con back to its roots. So if you were a fan of the comic books growing up, this is the year to go. And honestly, this is the year for San Diego locals to take advantage of the fact that it's not going to be as crowded, and it's honestly going to be way more palatable. So it's going to be a fun experience to take your kids out to. And I'm going to be there also with the nightlife, so I'm really looking forward to those shows this weekend.
It's funny. We're talking to Jen Sturger here on Ben and Woods. And so I got off my Twitter a couple months ago. It was just too much. And I got on Threads, and I'm
is that a laugh?
I'm on.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. So I sign up for Threads, and I'm like, this is a fun site. And
listen, Threads is where you're going to watch me have an existential crisis and my mental breakdown. That's where Threads is going to be the place where I'm going to put all the chaotic stuff that I've been too scared to post on Twitter. I'm just going to be completely unhinged on that place. And then they were like, just kidding. You can't delete it without losing your Instagram. And so I'm like, wait, what have I done?
So now I'm pot committed. I log into Threads, and one of the first things I see is a thread from our pal Jen Sturger in a bikini, and it says, well, I guess I'm officially divorced now. And I said to myself, okay, I think Threads, I think I'm on board.
I'm on board with
I
this
think
Threads.
I like Threads, but I wanted to ask you, obviously, you've been pretty public about it, but does this open up a whole new window when you're writing new comedy? Because you have to laugh to keep from crying. You do sometimes.
Honestly, I think it was one of those things where anyone that's gone through a divorce knows that it's kind of a painful experience, and
Terrible.
you really question everything about yourself
100%.
that you've ever thought, because you're like, man, the person that said forever was like, nah, I'm good. So for me though, getting on stage and talking about it has been the most therapeutic aspect of the whole process, because before we were going through all of the problems that a lot of people getting divorced right now after the pandemic were going through, and I was experiencing this weird thing on stage where I just felt super inauthentic because I felt like I'm lying to these people. So now I remember the very first show I talked about it. It was at Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club in Las Vegas. And I had this one brand new joke that I'd never said out loud in a room full of people. And when that joke hit and I got a 10-second applause break for this one joke, I literally said to the crowd, I was like, you guys don't understand. That feeling right there is better than anything I will ever get from therapy.
There's no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt. And that's how I try to deal with pain and trauma, is by humor. And I did not post a bikini pic of myself. It wouldn't have gotten the same reaction at all had I done that.
It would have just looked like you stapled 2 Tostitos to your chest. Let's be honest.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. So
But I really hope that, people can come out. They'll get to, if you've already seen my show or they've already seen my act and it was a year ago, you're going to meet an entirely different new version of me, like you are on Threads.
That's awesome.
Completely unhinged.
Jen,
She's having fun. And honestly, she feels like the most authentic version of me that I've been in a long time.
Jen, you probably don't know this about Woods here, but he has Very small but surprisingly perky nipples.
They're tiny. They look like dimes. They're dime size.
It's pretty bizarre.
It's actually quite bizarre how small they are. It's almost unsettling.
I didn't know we'd be talking about nipples this morning. My right one doesn't really wake up as fast as the other one. She's a little slower, but I'm patient with her. You know what I mean? I'm like, don't worry, she'll get there. She's special needs.
She'll
I always
get
have
there.
to warn people. I'm like, you're not doing anything wrong, I promise.
Jen, what were you like growing up? I ask because you look at Comic-Con and it was all, they were always the nerds. I was a nerd growing up and nerds weren't cool, but all of a sudden nerds are now kind of taking over the world and they've kind of taken their power back, and you go to Comic-Con and you see them just like being themselves now. But what were you like growing up?
Oh, I was completely a nerd. I was a drum major in the marching band.
Wow.
I was in the top 3% of my graduating class, in the county. I clearly had a lot of friends. So this is always the place that I've fit into, And yeah, you're totally right. Nerds, we used to get beat up at school or have to eat lunch in the bathroom stall. But now I feel since we all figured out if we band together, we can cancel people. We're really having a moment.
So good. You are fantastic. Make sure, if you're around this weekend, and I love what you said about how this version of Comic-Con, while, certainly probably disappointing to some, I think there are a lot of people that share your same sentiment. It's kind of like for me, Jen, if they ever do Coachella with actual bands again, I'll be the only one there, and I'll be so happy to be there because there's.
You don't want to watch dudes with turntables?
No,
there and pump their fists.
There's guitars. If they ever start doing bands again, I'll spend whatever it takes to go back out
with a keyboard.
Yeah,
Woodstock, sir.
Yeah, that is true. That's that old Cella they did for a while. But no, everybody, if you have the chance to go out and see our friend Jen this weekend, tell everybody again where they can get tickets and where they can find you and when.
Absolutely. I'm going to be at the San Diego Laugh Factory this whole weekend. Do not be scared to come down to Gaslamp. Look, it's already chaotic every single weekend. Don't pretend like this is going to be any worse. You guys go down there every single weekend to black out. This is going to be exactly the same, but with just adults in costumes nonstop. That's what you guys are known for, beaches, adults in costumes, coming to, the conclusion about Eric Hosmer before everybody else. Those are the things that San Diego is known for.
This is why they invented Uber and Lyft. You get down
exactly
there,
right.
You don't have to park. You just go down and enjoy yourself,
Exactly.
and you leave
There's
at the end
no
of the show.
excuse. We're going to be there Friday through Sunday. It's going to be an absolute blast. I'm going down there with some absolute killers that I've already announced on the website, but we are going to be adding some very special guests that I've convinced to make the trek down from Los Angeles to perform. So there's going to be even more names added to the shows this weekend. So get tickets now before they sell out.
Jen, great talking to you as always. Good luck this weekend.
Good luck with the nipples, guys.
Thank you so much.
Jen Sturger on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. I keep getting the questions. How do you know about Woods' nipples? Because he shows me all the time.
He really
has
does.
No problem showing.
Oh, hang on, your mic's
your
covering it
mic
up.
is yes. It's
there we go.
There, look at
it's just
small
a little,
it is. It's just
little mosquito
little
bite.
Thing. Little mosquito bite.
A little tiny, little bitty nipple. Yeah, tiny little guy.
All right, we need to check traffic still, and I will still tell you why this time is going to be different.
Oh no,
maybe for your San Diego Padres. Back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, Padres got number one yesterday. They snapped a 3-game losing streak. They got a victory. Is there any reason to think that they can put together a winning streak? Probably not, but they are they're set up for this series as they go forward. They got Yu Darvish today. He threw very well coming out of the break. They got Blake Snell, who's been the best pitcher in baseball, going on Thursday in the series finale, Thursday morning. On Friday, Seth Lugo coming off a really good start. Detroit Tigers have not been a great team this year. None of that means anything unless you actually go onto the field and get it done. And we've seen so many times the Padres not do it. Saturday, I don't know what they're going to do in terms of starting pitching. That one's a little bit dicier, but let's see if they can just get 4.
What's the
Can you get
update?
to 4?
What's the update with Walker? He's still not throwing.
Still not
yet?
ready. They were supposed to start
good.
throwing either while they're in Toronto or maybe in Detroit, but probably not back into the rotation until at least next week when they get home in San Diego. That's hurting. Having to go to that 5th unknown starter is going to make it hard to start a winning streak. However, I still like where the offense is. Manny is now legitimately on fire. Juan Soto, who had been the one guy, your big guy who was slumping, showed really good signs of coming out of it yesterday. Tatis is Tatis. Bogarts has looked much better since the injection, the cortisone shot at the All-Star break. I think he's swinging the bat better. He's showed some power. He's had a couple of home runs since the All-Star break. I mean, they've only played 5 games since the All-Star break. He's homered in 2 of them, I think. So he's looking better. You just added some pieces. Bob Melvin, the lineup's not out, but he said yesterday that we will see Luis Camposano behind the plate today. He was like 1,200 OPS in his rehab stint in the minor leagues. If there's a chance that he can come out and start hitting, he'll probably be hitting like 7th in the order. Kim has been having a really great season and a very strong second half. Trent Grisham is as hot as he's been all year long. You've got a pretty complete lineup at the moment to go with 4 out of 5 of your pitching slot starters doing well. I don't know about the bullpen. I mean, yesterday was a nice sign. Alec Jacob, I think, has immediately earned more high leverage opportunities in the coming days to see if he can replicate what he's done in his first couple of outings.
Yeah, tonight you
have
got
a well rested bullpen.
You got Nick Martinez rested. You got Josh Hader rested. Tim Hill's rested. Luis Garcia's very rested. Steven Wilson's ready to go. So and Brent Hunter.
And we could be seeing Robert Suarez back in the coming days as well. Not promising anything. But in terms of where the Padres are as a team, this has got to be their best chance to go on some sort of run right now.
I feel like I've said that 1,000.
Yes, but they've never been this hot at the plate all together at the same time. The only thing, as you said, missing Michael Wacha, that would be the one piece you'd really love to have back in the rotation right now. And we're just not sure when he's going to come back, be ready to pitch. Hopefully next week, but I haven't heard any updates on him even throwing yet on this road trip. So that's a concern. I'm not trying to get your hopes up, Padres fans. They're way, way back in the standings right now, and it's going to take something pretty spectacular and special. They're going to have to pretty much be the best team in baseball for over the last two months of the season. Now, someone will be the best team in baseball.
No doubt. Why not
30
us?
teams. It's probably not going to be the A's. So now there's 29 teams. Someone has to do it. Maybe it's the Padres will play the best baseball going forward. They certainly have the players to do it.
Got the players.
Never
to do
doubted that. They certainly have the players to do it. Do I expect it? No. Is it possible? Looking at it, yeah, absolutely should be possible.
Yeah, tough matchup tonight. He's good pitcher, Jose Barrios. He's 8-6. He's got about
Bassett will be tough tomorrow morning as well. So but Blake Snell and Yu Darvish should be able to match up with those guys. And I like where the Padres lineup is better now than I have liked it all season long. Nola's gone. You've got Sanchez now can come off the bench or DH if you need him against a lefty. That's a potential big swing you might need at some point. That upgrades, I think, the Padres offensively. And we'll see if Rivas and Colway, if they get a chance to inject some life and do something a little bit different. Give Bob Melvin at least a little more flexibility with what he can do going forward. I like where the Padres are right now.
You like a lot of stuff, though.
I do. I don't like where they're in the stand.
No, not like
don't
that
like
either.
that at all. Things Ben doesn't like. I don't like where the Padres are in the standings right now. It's not a good place to be.
And
going into the trade deadline.
As far as my fandom of it too. I mean, you watch a game last night. I said it out of the chute this morning. Is you look at that team and you go, how does anyone beat us ever? Like, how does anyone get through? It's exactly what we thought at the beginning of the year. We said, you're Alek Manoah and you toe the slab and you've got Ha-Seong Kim grinding you out for 12 pitches. Then you got Fernando Tatis grinding you out. Then you got Juan Soto grinding you out, hitting a 2-run homer. That's what this team looks like. That's what they can be. That's the potential. And you look at that and you go, dude, we play like that. No one beats us. Joe goes out and pitches his ass off like he did last night. Got in a little bit of trouble. No problem. No problem. We all thought it was going to crumble when we scored 2, then he gave up 1. We're like, oh boy, here we go. He knuckled down, got through it, 1 run, and bullpen came in and did their job, Benny. You look at that and you go, yes, no one beats this team. It gives you that sense of hope. String something together, man. For yourselves, for the city, for all of you guys.
And it'll have to be different guys tonight. I mean, maybe some of the same guys offensively, but certainly pitching wise, it'll be have to be different guys, which means you pass the baton.
Yep.
All right. One set of guys got the job done last night. Now you pass the baton and they take it and hopefully they get the job done. And all of a sudden you do that a couple of times, it can really start to snowball and steamroll into something.
Yeah, it's just tough to put your finger on what this team is going to do. We've seen what they're capable of doing. Unfortunately, we've also seen the flip side of what they're capable of doing. Scoring 2 runs, 3 runs, stopping for 6 innings. Bullpen comes in, serves it up after a really good quality start from their starting pitcher. We've seen that too much too to think that it's not who they are.
I'll tell you what I'm looking for. And the one time I truly believed in the Padres, when they won those 2 close games against the Rays at Petco Park.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is what I've been looking for. Kind of need to see something like that again. It's not the 9-1 wins that actually you think, oh yeah, 9-1 win. That's the team that, no, I need to see the 4-3 win. I need to see the 2-1 win. I need to see them come from behind, down 2-1
and not fall
in the
apart.
8th inning and take a lead and then lock it down late. Yep. Those are the kind of games that I'll be looking for that will tell me, okay, maybe it is time to start getting excited again about this team and maybe open yourself up to the potential hurt
of getting hurt again.
I'm not there yet. I just see the possibility of it going forward.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. And it's not like this entire city isn't ready to run through a wall for these guys. Whenever they tell us it's time to do it, this entire city is behind them. They got to know that.
Got some interesting timing for baseball coming up. Today is just like yesterday, 4:07 first pitch here on 97.3 The Fan, 3:07 pregame show for Sam Levitt. Tomorrow, early starts, 10:07 a.m. first pitch, which means Sammy will be here early, preempting an hour of Ben and Woods with a 9:07 a.m. pregame show in the series finale from Rogers Center in Toronto. And then the weekend, Friday's a 3:40 start and is an Apple TV Plus game, which means I think no Don and Mud on Friday when the Padres go to Detroit. Saturday is a 3:10 start, and then Sunday is that Peacock game in Detroit, which is the really early one, I believe. Oh, I thought it was. No, it's not. Never mind. No, I'm the wrong Sunday. Yeah, it's the Peacock game coming up next on Sunday in Detroit. Padres and Tigers at 9:05 a.m. with an 8:05 a.m. donuts and coffee with Sam Levitt on Sunday morning with Joe Musgrove on the mound on Peacock.
Perfect.
On Sunday.
All right. Well,
yeah, get all your streaming services ready this weekend.
Get them all locked in and dialed up
because it's going to be a little bit weird. But we will be back tomorrow for just 3 hours instead of the usual 4. But until then, we're going to have some fun. Go play some golf with Adam Jones. Hopefully have a story or two to tell you in the morning tomorrow.
Hey, happy birthday, man.
Thank you, guys.
Birthday,
appreciate
Woods.
you. Appreciate all the tier ones very much.
For Paul Ryan,
loving your messages.
For the birthday boy, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.